think we're good to go and live. And before I forget, because I always do when I host, I'm going to unmute my guest. And here he is, Randy the Plumber here with Sloppy Joe. How's it going, man? Is the volume on?
He's connecting to the audio.
Okay, cool. I love that hat.
The hat is perfect for him.
How you doing, Randy?
What's up? Oh, shit!
How's it going, man?
It's just like crazy as hell. I mean, just like everywhere else. We're the governor of Mississippi said today that we're going on lockdown Friday at 5 o'clock. So,
dang. Yeah, I haven't kept track too much in Illinois, but they've been on every other day, so it's just been like yikes.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I've been watching a lot of your TikToks for a long time, man, and I gotta say I'm a really big fan.
Well, I appreciate it.
I think we've all become fans.
I have weird fans all over the place.
So I'm Jarrett. I'm the emailer, and then there's Danny B in the Bristol shirt, and then our buddy Sloppy Joe. He's an esports driver for RCR and the Earnhardt stuff.
Oh yeah, cool. What's up, guys?
Doing pretty good, man. I'm just I'll be completely honest. You've went viral amongst the NASCAR community right now on like Twitter and Facebook and Reddit and TikTok, obviously. I just how has like the response really been for that so far?
Unbelievable. When I started this thing, I really didn't know what the hell I was doing. Somebody said, "You're too old to be on TikTok. You're too this. You're too that." I said, "You know what? Screw you. I've been hearing all my life. You're too something." So, and I've been pretty damn successful. So, NASCAR come along, February come up. I'd been making football videos. Everybody responded well. And here come the Daytona 500, and here come the big one, baby. And, I mean, what better Daytona 500? We had Trump pacing the field. We had Denny Hamlin winning it again, freaking again. And then, several big ones. I mean, the only video I wanted to make that I didn't make was a Denny Hamlin's victory. And I couldn't do that because of Ryan Newman's injury. And I said, I won't make a video until we hear the all clear on him. And it was almost midnight. So I said, no, I'm kind of out of the moment now. But, because something has to inspire me. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. People say, make a video of this, make a video of that. Well, I can't because it doesn't inspire me. When I see something that inspires me, I jump up, hit the rewind button. My wife jumps up with the camera and we roll. And we do it in one take. There's never been a video where I made a second take. It's completely natural. It's who I am. It's how I react to stuff. And I'm just, a complete freaking idiot most of the time. But y'all seem to love it. So
we do.
I'll keep being a jackass. So there you go.
That works.
I love it.
we were all at the first day. Danny was the only one that stuck around for the rest of the 450 miles. So like the atmosphere was just nuts, like you were saying, like between the president being there and pacing the field, and then all of the celebrities that were around and promoting it, and Darius Rucker and people representing Floyd Mayweather's team were there. It was nuts in person. Have you ever been to the 500?
I haven't been to the Daytona 500. I've been to Texas. I've been to Bristol more than I can count. I've been to Talladega is a family reunion for me. I can't even tell you how many times, maybe 80 times at Talladega. Been to Charlotte half a dozen times, Atlanta. One track I don't want to go. I want to go to every track but Pocono because I'm afraid if I go to Pocono, I'm going to fall asleep. But, I mean...
Well, if you go this year, you can go ahead and rip off both races with one like it's a Band-Aid. So
That's right. Well, I hope we're back to racing by then. I mean, the way things are looking, it's looking pretty bleak. But man, we can't get back quick enough. There's no way. I mean, if it was tomorrow, it wouldn't be quick enough.
No.
But there's a race tonight.
Yeah. And
we've got a friend of ours who's actually helping out with that.
Yeah. Well, cool deal.
So
I got it on record.
So you're from Mississippi, right?
Yeah, boy.
So you're a Saints fan?
Yeah, boy.
You might not like me too much, but
you may not like me either. I'm a Falcons fan.
Oh my! Oh shit!
Hey, I'm just gonna stay neutral with the AFC and the Titans over here. So
New Orleans Saints fan. I'm a Mississippi State Bulldog to the core, and I'm a diehard NASCAR fan. My oldest son turns 24 this year, and he's named after Jeff Gordon. So there you go. Yes. His name is Jeffrey. And in '96, there was no kids being born named Jeffrey. There was tons of Jacobs and this and that. There was no Jeffreys. He come home one day from school, and he said, Daddy, I'm the only Jeffrey in the school. He said, there's 400 Jacobs, 600 Hunters, and this, that, and the other. And he said, I said, well, you're special, son. So, but that's who he's named after.
Yeah, I'm the only Jarrett that I've ever seen around any of my classes. Granted, it's not after Dale Jarrett. My parents didn't want to waste ink on the birth certificate with extra R's and T's. But
yeah.
So you kind of answered the question I was actually really wondering was like, who's your favorite driver? I guess, well, Gordon's gone now, so
yeah.
Who's your favorite guy now?
Martin Truex Jr.
Okay.
And, I don't know if y'all heard the podcast I was on with Clint Boyer and Denny Hamlin this past week. Did any of y'all get to listen to that?
No, I didn't get a chance to.
Well, yeah, it's on Rubbin' His Racing's podcast, but Clint asked me who my favorite driver was, and then I told he's like, "Oh, you was a Gordon man. I never had you for a Gordon man. Whatever. We're the same age and all that. It's all good." But the when he asked me who I went with, and I told him Martin Truex Jr., he said, "Well, why didn't you pick me?" And I told him, I said, "Clint, I said, we see what happens when I pick a driver. Jeff Gordon had never won a race when I picked him. Davey Allison had gotten killed, and that's the only reason I was without a driver." When he got killed at Talladega, so I didn't know what to do, so I picked up on Jeff Gordon before he ever won anything. And then look at what happened. He won a bunch of races, a bunch of championships. Well, then I picked Martin Truex Jr., and he goes out and wins a bunch of races and a championship for the first time ever. I told Clint, I said, if I'd have picked you, we'd have had to invent a new number for you. We'd have had to invent a new sport because you'd have been this giant, unbelievable NASCAR driver right now if I'd have picked you. And then Denny was on the phone. He said something, and I said, if I'd have picked Denny Hamlin, he'd have done won 4 championships by now. So it seems like when I pick a driver, that means, hey, boys, let's go out there and win a bunch of shit because this guy ain't picking us for nothing. So,
well, I'm sure Truex won't be around for, too many more years to come. So I know a guy named Alex Bowman who could use another fan. I mean,
yeah.
There he goes. He's starting.
I got nothing against Alex Bowman. I got a question for y'all, and this is serious.
Okay.
This is serious business. Jimmie Johnson's retiring. Okay. Now, look at this scenario the way I've been looking at it. I've been a Hendrick Motorsports guy most of my life. Now I'm a Truex Jr. fan. All right. It's all great. When Jimmie Johnson retires, there is no championship driver in the Hendrick stable. Now, we ain't been able to say this since like 1995. There is no championship driver in the Hendrick stable, and I do not believe that Rick Hendrick is going to allow that. What I think is going on right now, and this is just my opinion, I think they're going after Brad Keselowski to put him in that 48 car. Because if you will remember, when Keselowski signed with Penske, Rick Hendrick said, I'll never let him get too far away. Mm-hmm. Hendrick Motorsports has to have a championship driver in their stable. They have to have it. If they don't have it, they're at a disadvantage, a huge disadvantage. And Rick Hendrick knows it.
I think you're exactly right, Randy. We've all kind of been leaning that way ourselves.
Well, I mean, I just don't see Rick Hendrick going 1 year, smart as he is, and the way he's built this race team without a championship driver in that stable. I just don't see it happening.
I think the fact that we've already seen Ryan Blaney announce that he's re-signed, but Brad hasn't, it's pretty writing starting to be a little bit on the wall there.
Yeah, and Brad, to me, has been getting a little stagnant at that Penske team. I don't know what's going on, but it seems like Keselowski is the head of the field over there. I mean, not Keselowski, Logano's the head of the field over there right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on there, but he could probably use a change in atmosphere.
The whole year since, like, the Clash, Brad has just seemed like he's been unhappy with his team and his teammates.
And that could be, boy, when you got an unhappy driver, you got a lot of stuff going on there. But, yeah, I'm looking for a big move out of Hendrick Motorsports. Boy, wouldn't that be a big one?
So, really quick, you were saying you go to Bristol and Talladega a lot. I'm wondering, are you planning on going this year? What races you'd be planning on? Because we're going to probably be at a lot of them, and I'd love to meet you in person.
Well, I'm for sure going to Talladega fall race right now. I'm for sure. But there's some stuff going on that's fixing to probably be going on with me in NASCAR that I really don't know what's going to happen. But, I mean, I may wind up hosting the big one on the boulevard. Who knows? So, let's just see where it goes. But I'm at least planning on going to Talladega fall. I may go to the Bristol night race. That's unknown right now, but it's a very good possibility.
Dude, if you're there, we got to meet up with you because I would love to. I love the hats, so I would love to, like, you know, have a picture with you in one of those hats. I don't care which one. I can't say the one you had before because we have a running joke that I'm on a cussing abstinence on this show because I got in trouble for cussing too much. But guest is completely wide open. Say whatever you want.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah,
I can say whatever I want.
Anything you want.
Well, I tell you what, you won't have no trouble finding me at Bristol. I will be the campsite that you can see from everywhere that's raising the most unbelievable amount of hell of anybody there.
Oh, so that's the one I saw a few years ago.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, we you know, everybody has a campfire at Bristol. We have a bonfire, 12 to 15 feet tall around the clock. So, you know, I don't like the little campfires. I got to go big or go home.
What do you burn?
I burn wood. I burn oak. I bring a whole trailer load of it when I come.
See, because oh, go ahead. My bad.
We set it up right.
See, when I go down to Arkansas for Easter with my family, we have like a running tradition that we burn mattresses down there.
Well, I guess we could bring a truckload of mattresses up there and light the hell out of them.
There's bound to be. There's always some on the side of the road I've found. So like we could just like pick them up as we go. You know, Danny has a truck. He can bring them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did y'all go to Talladega a couple of years ago when the burn ban was on?
No, I haven't been there. I'm going in fall. Oh, yeah, Sloppy was there.
You know what I'm talking about. We're all at Talladega, the biggest redneck party of the year. Okay, it's a family reunion for 250,000 idiots, and they tell us we can't have a fire. And I'm like, how the hell are we going to have Talladega without campfires? So the deputy sheriffs come through the campground. I camp over in the free camping on the other side of the road. I want to be with the Hellraisers. Okay, I don't make no bones about it. I don't want to be where there's quiet time. I want to be where the hell is being raised around the clock. So they bring us these rule sheets, and they said you can have a fire if it's 36 inches off the ground. So I'm like, I look at my wife. I said, grab the tape measure out of the truck. You know, I'm a plumber. I got a tape measure everywhere I go. I ain't doing no plumbing in Talladega, but I got my damn tools. You know what I'm saying? So we grabbed the tape measure, and I got this big old homemade aluminum grill. This thing is massive, and it's 38 inches off the ground. I said, holy shit. I said, gather up everybody's firewood. We're going to stuff it all in that grill. And we had a fire that was about 20 feet tall. We had the only fire in the whole entire campground at Talladega. So you know what happened next? About 15 minutes later, we launched the largest beer pong tournament in racing history. We had 42 tables set up, and we had about 500 people slamming beers, and we had us a hell of a night.
I want to go so bad.
I'll tell you what, and he's not wrong. That fire was up there. Like, you could see it from, like, as soon as you're walking out the track, you could see that thing. If you're walking in the track, you could see that thing. It was my tip of my hat off to you, my man. Tip my hat off to you.
Well, we found the loophole, and a deputy come riding by on a horse. We had our fire going, and I said, what you think about our fire? He said, it's completely legal. Y'all have a hell of a time tonight.
That is great.
And we did. We burned up all the firewood everybody had that was in the campground. We went up to the little gas station. You go out there, take a left, go up there to that gas station at the interstate. We loaded all their firewood up in the back of my truck. They was happy as hell because they bought all this firewood, and then there was a burn ban, so they couldn't sell it. So we bought it all. We just raised hell. We had a great time.
That's amazing.
So
yeah,
our buddy Ryan actually goes to the Talladega infield for some races too with friends, and he was telling us that it's just you literally cannot explain how wild it is to go down Talladega Boulevard. Like, is there whatever, you know, what stuff I guess are some of the craziest stories that you have from there?
Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh. Look. Clothing is completely optional at Talladega. Alcohol is a requirement, and clothing is an option, and that's just the way it is. And if you ain't getting drunk at Talladega, you're screwing up somehow. Because I mean, you don't have to go far, but I tell you, my greatest, craziest memory, and my son is not going to like this at all. We got set up. We got our campsite set up. He'd never been to Talladega. He's 14 years old. I've been trying to get him to go for years, but it just always something's going on. So he finally gets to Talladega. We get everything set up. And I said, jump in the truck. We're going to take a ride. I'm going to show you what this place is all about. We did not get 100 yards, and some old gal was flagging us down. She's running over, no top on, no bra on, flopping them titties everywhere. He said, what do I do? I said, let the window down, son. So he lets the window down. She looks at me, sprays whipped cream on her nipples, and says, you going to suck this or not? He said, Daddy, what do I do? I said, well, you need to make up your mind, son. You either going to drive off.
That sounds about right.
And I looked at him and I said, welcome to Talladega, son. He said, this is going to be one crazy week. But we get there on Wednesday. You know, we get there ahead of time and oh gosh, it is so much fun, man. I don't understand how a person can live their life and die and never have been to Talladega. It's just crazy to me.
He's probably thinking, Dad, where's the cars?
Oh, he was having him a great time. He figured it all out real quick.
I want to go so bad.
I got no words at all.
Yeah, I mean, you asked and I told.
What I want to do is
it's not me.
show.
He asked.
That was great.
Yeah, we were up at Charlotte one year, and I was riding around the campground. I had my Jeep then. We was riding around the campground, and we pull up on these fellas, and they're about to load up in a tractor tire. And I said, what are y'all fixing to do? He said, I'm fixing to get in that tractor tire, and they're going to push me down that hill. I said, Lord, have mercy. This is not fixing to go well. And it did not go well. I can tell you that. They loaded this dumbass in a tractor tire, and then they pick up the other tractor tire that's sitting over there. Some other jackass gets it, and they fixing a race.
Oh my God.
They're racing down this hill at Charlotte in the campground. They roll over the top of one little car, wind up in the side of a pickup truck. Both of them got concussions. I mean, there's some crazy shit happens at these racetracks.
I can attest to that. When we went to Chicagoland in the early 2000s through about 2010, it was crazy in the infield. But one of the craziest things that I think I saw is that there's people that show up each year and they have a giant couch, and it's a motorized couch, and then they had another person with a motorized porta potty, and they were racing down in through the infield, and they had to have been at least 20 miles an hour. They have like this engine built on the back of the couch, and then one in the porta potty, and I'm just hoping that they emptied out the porta potty because it didn't end well towards the end of that. And
oh my gosh!
I saw my first Lamborghini at Chicagoland, and then I saw the first time somebody got arrested that was driving a Lamborghini because he snuck into the track with it. Yeah, my grandpa and I were walking out of the garage and look over, and there's this Lamborghini going right by, and this thing is like brand new. And we're like, wow, you don't see that every day. And not 30 seconds later, his cop rolls up. You seen a Lamborghini go through here? Yeah, hard to miss. Went and turned right. Next thing we know, see police escorting this dude out of the track. And we're like, okay, one, I'm never going to see that again. Two, I'm never going to see any of this again. I love the infield. If you're not going the infield, I don't think you're doing it right when you're at a NASCAR race.
Oh, man, yeah. It's a load of fun, dude. You can experience anything on the infield of a racetrack, and you will. Oh, God, you will. I've seen Jello wrestling, naked Jello wrestling. I've seen naked, really big women Jello wrestling in the infield of tracks. I've seen naked, they take plastic and coat it down with olive oil and slide down it for like 75 feet. I've seen that done naked, clothes, way too big, way too small. I mean, shit. Oh, shit. You see it all, baby.
So it sounds like it's very Christian programming.
It is. We pray for them.
I remember I saw that these guys had poles set up about 30 feet apart, and they taped beer bottles on top of them, and they got their metal frisbee and were trying to knock the beer bottle off, and every time they didn't, they had to take a shot. And they kept going back and forth, and no one could get it for about 30 minutes, and finally a dude got really mad, and he just flung it as fast as he could. This giant metal frisbee hits his friend straight in the eyes, and the guy gets up and he's like, I think it hit me a bit. Dude literally looks like a raccoon because he has just purple all the way around his eyes and all over his face. And it's like, there's been so many times we've seen people have to go right, because we've camp at Chicagoland right near the medical center, and there's so many times where this open spot, people get hurt, and they immediately send them around the corner of the medical center, and 30 minutes later they're back doing the same thing they did to get hurt. There's a dude who I forgot what car it was. It looked like it was definitely like really souped up, but he goes, check out this burnout I'm gonna do. It's called the axle breaker, and he goes down smoking the tires all the way down from turn 4 all the way down to the middle of the track, and then you hear like this big loud sound and a bunch of metal dragging on the ground. He comes back and he had broken his axle and is driving it around, just trying not. I mean, it's just stuff like that. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just amazing entertainment. I can't believe there hasn't been a show chronicling a season of NASCAR in the infield, because it's just insane.
Maybe we should do that.
I'm down. You want to?
Yeah. Maybe we should get Clint Boyer to fund it and give us all the money to produce it. There we go.
All right.
Clint, where are you at, Clint? Come on. Where are you at, man?
Clint and Dave Portnoy can have little cameos at different races during the year.
Yeah, we get Dave involved. Oh man, that would be a lot of damn fun. Now I know that's not a Winston Cup Series hat you have on.
Yes, it is.
Are you old enough to remember the Winston Cup Series?
No, but my grandfather told me that since I'm very old school, I needed this hat. So it's literally become a staple of any time I go to a race, people know me for this hat.
You damn right. You damn right you need that hat. Man, I missed the Winston Cup Series. That's back when shit was real. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they get out of the car and whip each other's ass in a heartbeat. I love that stuff. I loved it.
Did you, because my grandpa watched it live, did you watch the fight from 79 live?
I was 7 years old in 79. I may have watched it, but I don't remember it.
All right.
I was just a little fucker back then.
I want to ask, what, like, just from the Winston Cup days, 80s and 90s, what stuff that people, like, don't talk about that's crazy from back then, like, do you remember most from that? Because my grandpa tells me all this stuff that he's seen it, like, because he used to go to Daytona every year. He was there when Senior won. Like, what stuff is there that just, like, people don't know about those days that you think they should?
The biggest thing that ever happened in NASCAR, probably, to me, was the year Alan Kawicki won the Cup Championship as a single race car underfunded self-owning team. I mean, that was crazy. They were like, you can't do it. You can't go out there and compete with the big boys. You can't do this. You can't do that. He's like, screw you. He got Hooters to sponsor him. They had them big titties helping him out. And look, he went out and won the damn thing. That's it. Of course, he was killed not long after that in an airplane crash. But damn, that was a huge accomplishment. But, you know, I compared that maybe with Terry Labonte's, I think it was 96 championship. He hadn't won one in almost 20 years at that point. I mean, there was just so much stuff that happened back in the day. You got Davey Allison celebrating a win from his hospital room in Charlotte for the All-Star race, that year. I mean, he went straight from the car to the hospital. I mean, it's just so much crazy stuff has happened. The year that Ronald Reagan was at Daytona and Richard Petty won, and it just 200th victory. Holy shit, man. I remember that like it was yesterday. 200th victory. We ain't gonna say that about nobody else, not in Cup. I mean, Kyle Busch is gonna go out and win 500 damn races, but most of them's gonna be in the minor leagues.
Mm-hmm.
So now it was a different ball game between Cup and Xfinity, or what used to be Busch Grand National. But man, I love all them guys. I don't know about y'all, but I love them all. I ain't got nothing against any of them. Don't want any of them to get hurt. I'm not a Ryan Newman fan. But I tell you what, the 3 hours after the Daytona 500 this year was some of the longest hours of my life until we got word.
Obviously, I wasn't old enough to really remember anything about the day that Dale Sr. had his crash at Daytona. But I tell you, I was in the stands at Daytona that night when Ryan had his crash, and I've never actually cried in the stands at a NASCAR race until that night when. Like, because we didn't know what was happening from our perspective. They brought out those black covers, and, we know now that was just so no one was taking close-up pictures, because that'd be really awful. No need for that.
Yeah.
But, in my eyes, I was thinking, oh gosh, he's gone.
Yeah, my wife was extremely distraught, and I wasn't doing much better. And I mean, we were literally sitting on pins and needles. And we had already, it was become about 10 o'clock at night. And I said, what if we don't get word tonight? She said, then we're going to be up all night. She said, we are not going to miss out if they give word on him, because nobody knew his condition.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I don't know why they wouldn't tell us anything. As soon as they realized that he was conscious, we should have been known. We should have been made aware of that. And I feel like they held that from us for a few hours. And maybe they didn't. I don't know. But it was a long night. If I tell you, if we go back to my greatest memory in racing, and I don't know, since you weren't alive when Dale Senior, you don't remember when Dale Senior passed away. You probably don't remember this as actually watching it live. But the greatest moment in NASCAR history, probably to me, is the July race that Junior won in 01. And when Junior took that checkered flag, Senior had been killed in the spring race at Daytona. So that was the next race on the schedule at Daytona. And when Junior took that checkered flag, and him and Michael Waltrip met in the infield, and they embraced each other, that was their celebration of both their victories. Mm-hmm. But to me, that was the greatest one moment to date in NASCAR history. And I'm going all the way back to the beginning of NASCAR. I've watched all the great moments of the sport from day one. And that to me is the greatest thing that ever happened in racing. It couldn't have been better. It couldn't have been more fitting. Junior restarted 8th and won that race. It was like it was meant to be. And I remember watching it like it sends chills up my spine to even think about it right now. But I remember watching that race when they restarted and he started passing cars like they were sitting still. I said, he's going to win this damn thing. And I said, and then when he took the lead and I jumped up and I said, you damn right he's going to win this thing. And man, I'm not a Junior fan, but I felt like I was probably a big Junior fan at that very moment in life. And y'all probably can relate to this. You have your driver, you do,
Junior.
But there is moments that happen during races and you are all of a sudden pulling for someone that you never dreamed you were going to pull for. You may never pull for them again, but in that moment you are wanting them to win that race. I have never wanted someone to win a race more than I wanted Timmy Hill to win that race this past Sunday.
That's actually a good segue.
Bristol night race last year. We were all in attendance, and we were all Matt DiBenedetto fans at the end of that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wasn't that great to see him up there? I mean, there's them moments, and y'all know what I'm talking about. And if you don't have them moments, you're not a true NASCAR fan. Mm-hmm. You've got the moments, and it's somebody that you never dreamed. When you went to Bristol that day, when they dropped that green flag, you never in your life dreamed you were going to be pulling for Matt DiBenedetto by the end of that race, did you?
I thought maybe it was going to be a Kyle Busch domination or something. I had no clue we were in for that kind of show.
Yeah, it's racing is just that, though. You don't know. Football, you can kind of tell who might win a game before it starts. Baseball, you can kind of tell who's got the favor. And racing, there ain't no telling what the hell's fixing to happen. I mean, it's just – look, I was a Gordon fan. I watched Jeff Burton and Mark Martin finish to him second more than you ever seen anything in your life. And then a lot of those people were pulling for Jeff Gordon as he was crossing the finish line, and they were fans of them. They were fans of Mark Martin, pulling for Jeff Gordon. I watched them do it, and Mark Martin's finishing second. And I remember one year he finished second to him so much that they started this little scandal about they're putting something on their tires. And if you don't believe me, Google it. They did. They were having an investigation in the garage area that Gordon had some sort of solution on his tires that was giving him an advantage. That's how bad it was. He was winning, I mean, like crazy. I think that was 97.
Yeah, I know how you feel, though, when it comes to rooting for somebody that, like, you're not a fan of. And I was at Gordon's last win back in 2015, and literally everybody in the stands, Gordon fans, Junior fans, everybody was cheering for Gordon. I mean, if you had told me when I started watching back in 2005 that me and other Dale Jr. fans would be just absolutely ecstatic for Jeff Gordon winning a race, I would have told you were crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, we were sitting because my family's all Junior fans, and we were sitting next to a bunch of Gordon fans. And I remember at that point, Gordon had been on a pretty, for his standards, a longer winless streak. And I was like, because I'd been at Junior's Michigan win in 2012, and they're like holding back tears. I'm like, I know exactly how you feel. Like it's so sweet to be there when they win and when they finally win. And so I know exactly what you mean by that.
I about to say that's something I've dealt with personally, because like you guys don't know, I came down with mono on the way back the day when Gordon won his last race in Martinsville. And if anyone knows me personally, I grew up a huge Gordon fan as a kid. My dad introduced me to NASCAR. I watched Rainbow Warriors, turned to the Blue and Red Flames, and it was a really rough day. I get home, I'm feeling terrible, like in my bed, fever, sweating, and all of a sudden I see that 24 win. I just started tearing up, because it was such a rough year for his last year to do it like that. It means a lot when your guy wins after such a long time like that. Even with Dale Jr. winning at Daytona, like you mentioned too, it's just, those moments are incredible.
You talk about the times when people won and you became a fan of them. Likewise, 2 years later in Martinsville 2017, that was my first time going to Martinsville, and only reason I went is because it was going to be my last chance to see Dale Jr. race in person. He's who I rooted for the longest time, and I enjoyed it. But my wife had already become a Chase Elliott fan, and I like Chase. Got nothing wrong with him. He's probably my second favorite right now. But that night, I was a Chase Elliott fan. Like you could tell everyone in the stadium, even if they weren't rooting for Chase Elliott when they came in that day, they were rooting for him when they left because of what happened and how close he came to getting that win.
Yeah. Tell you what, man, NASCAR's give us some moments. And y'all are a lot younger than me, and y'all haven't seen quite as many moments as I've seen, but they're all good. They're all good, and you gotta embrace that stuff, man. We've had drivers get killed over the years. Nothing really since Senior got killed, but before that, we had quite a few get killed in a decade, and man, they all gave us some good moments. Nobody gave as many as Dale Senior, but it's just the moments. That's the thing. That's what makes NASCAR so damn cool. Is it's the only sport in the world that can give you these crazy ass moments that you never see them coming.
Well, that kind of brings me into the question I wanted to ask, and this can be both a good or a bad moment. But if you could go back in time and put yourself in any moment again, whether you was there in person or if you weren't there in person, if you could go back to any moment, put yourself there to experience just what it was like being in the crowd and the atmosphere of it, what would you go to?
It would have to be that July race at Daytona when Junior won. That's what it was. I regret not being at that race. I regret not having the most expensive seat in the house at the start-finish line. I regret it every day of my life because I had an opportunity to get those tickets on the start-finish line at Daytona that year. And I regret not doing it. I was about to do it, and I said, no, I can't. I can't get away for that long right now. And damn, I wish I would have went, because that was the shit, man. That was the shit. I watch that video at least once a month, and just for giggles. I mean, I watch it about once a month, and every time I watch it, it sends chills up my spine. Just the biggest name in NASCAR died in the last turn on the last lap of the Daytona 500 2001.
You talk about that being the best moment, and I really think everything that really probably happened that year afterwards in terms of NASCAR, probably you couldn't have wrote a book better than that. The race after, the guy Steve Park, the guy that he handpicked to be his next star of his company, he wanted to build the company around, goes out and wins the very next week.
Yep.
Three weeks later, the guy who took over for him, Kevin Harvick, gets the win for the team.
That's right. Is that not crazy? The third race.
It's amazing. And then the fact too, like everyone forgets because we've all went back and watched that race, and everyone forgets that before Harvick and Gordon were side by side for which I think that's even more fitting too, is that the third race afterwards, Harvick wins against Earnhardt's most competitive rival he's ever had in Gordon, But even then, before that, Nadu and Jarrett and Junior were all racing for the lead, until about 2 laps before
dude,
that.
Dave Blaney, how did he was on track to win that one, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just man, you like you say, you can't make this stuff up.
Mm-mm.
You can't make it up. And what's crazy is when they put Kevin Harvick and they changed the number to 29. I don't know if anybody knows it, but up there in Kannapolis, North Carolina, a road leads you to Highway 3 and 29, and you go one way on Highway 3 and you go the other way on Highway 29. I don't know if that's how they got the number or not. I don't know where the number 29 come from, but when they announced, Richard Childress announced that Kevin Harvick was going in that race car, I was like, Kevin who? This kid won't never win a damn race. I mean, and this, I wasn't on board because Dale Earnhardt had just got killed. I was not a Dale Earnhardt fan. Let's get this straight. I'm a racing fan. That's how much I love the sport. It broke my heart the day it happened. And here comes this Kevin Harvick kid, and I didn't like the idea. And then he goes out there and wins at his third start, and I was like, holy shit, this guy might be really good. And yeah, he was. He turned out to be really damn good, didn't he? So
yeah, he's pretty good. I'd say so.
Yeah.
Closing in on 50.
I like the fact that no matter what his sponsor was, Goodwrench, Races, Shell, Budweiser, whatever it was, he always had that little 3 just right on the side of that car.
Yeah, no, that's important, man. And then when the 3 came back, I didn't know if it was time. I really didn't. I didn't know how I was going to feel about it. And I told my wife, I said, we are about to watch a race, and that 3 car is going to be on the track for real. This ain't no show. This ain't no, hey, we're going to come out here and do this expo kind of deal. This 3 car is for real, and it's back. And I told her, I said, I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. And I didn't feel that great about it. And then I realized that Austin Dillon, the grandchild of Richard Childress, is probably, the 3 has to come back eventually. And he's probably the most deserving person of bringing that 3 back. But what Austin Dillon has done with that numbers, he's represented it. And I'm happy that he's represented it. I mean, it couldn't have been done a better way. And what I mean by that is Austin Dillon's come out there and he's respected the history of that number 3. Mm-hmm. He's respected the history of his grandfather's operation, and he's come in and worked his ass off. Now, let's understand what that kid has done. That kid ain't been given nothing. Everybody's on him. You've been given this, you've been given that. And he's worked his ass off. Anybody in a cup car has worked their ass off. Listen, I mean, there's no other way. You do not get to that level any other way. And then he goes out and wins a race. And then I don't know what the hell you call what he does in the grass. Maybe it's the Superman slide that looked like a flopping fish. But and if you ever noticed, every driver's got their own personal celebration. Nobody knows where it comes from. Tony Stewart used to climb the fence. Everybody does something different. And that's what makes NASCAR so freaking cool too. Is they all celebrate their own way. Nobody does it the same way. Alan Kawicki was the first driver to drive on the racetrack backwards after a victory. And we still call that today the Polish victory lap.
I kind of messed back when Kurt Busch would do that actually reverse lap.
Yeah.
So
Kurt Busch.
Earlier you were saying you're rooting for Timmy Hill. I want to kind of steer towards some of the stories we have for tonight and just from this week. What did you think of just the iRacing deal this past week at Texas? How did you think that race went?
I think it was a little more interesting than the first one. And I think we didn't know, none of us knew what the hell was going to happen in that first race. I mean, don't sit here and say, hey, I know how this is going to come out, because nobody know how it was going to come out, and it drew almost 1 million people. Has anybody heard of how many people this race at Texas drew?
Yeah, so Adam Stern had reported that the TV ratings, they had a 0.81 in ratings, which was 1.34 million viewers.
Awesome. I hope it keeps going up, because, I know it's not real. It's not real racing, but damn it, it's something. And we ain't got nothing right now. I mean, I was sitting out back earlier watching the damn grass grow. I mean, it's just like, maybe I could find me 2 ants racing and make a video. So
what I've noticed this week, the only things that there is you can still go fishing. You can watch virtual racing. You can still watch some WWE wrestling with no fans.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hadn't done that yet, but I might. It's man. I'm 48, and I never dreamed of a day when we had no sports in this country. I told somebody one time, probably 20 years ago, if they ever take the sports away, people are going to start killing each other quick. Because, I mean, you think about it, we have no sports. Baseball season is supposed to be in full swing right now. March Madness is supposed to just been the craziest thing we ever saw going on. We're supposed to have racing. We're supposed to have college baseball. Golly, man, we got nothing. Our life sucks right now.
But at the same time, it's really eye-opening to think, what all have we really been missing out on because these things have kind of consumed us so much.
Yeah, you're right. I learned how to bake a cake the other night. I can say that you don't want to eat my damn cake is all I can tell you. It's bad. But yeah, I mean, we're doing a lot of things we had never done before. We're putting a puzzle together. I learned how to use a sewing machine. Made me and my wife masks. I mean, I've got my monogramming machine. I don't know if y'all know it. I make all my own hats. I produce a bunch of merchandise on randytheplumber.com. And I've been making a bunch of hats. I sent out 55 hats yesterday. I think we sent out 48 hats today. So that's keeping us kind of busy too. Because, I mean, I hadn't left the house in 16 days.
Jeez. I've always went out and run and stuff, but really quick, I want to address the chat really quick. We got super chat. Thank you, Chrome Diesel, for the $2 super chat. He asks, how would you describe a champion? I don't know if he just in general or like what you think of the format or what. I don't know exactly what he's going for, but I guess how would you describe a champion in NASCAR? I guess is what he's going for.
How would I describe a champion?
I think he's asking. I'm pretty sure he's asking it for you.
That could mean maybe how do you determine the characteristics of a man who represents him like a champion, or that could be how should we determine a champion?
Well, I tell you what, the first thing you do is you just find out who I picked as a driver, and they're going to be a damn champion. Okay. But no, what I like to see in our NASCAR champions, I like to see people who are genuine, who are hardworking, who did it the right way, and who went out there and busted their ass. Now, a few years ago, Kyle Busch missed how many races with a broken ankle?
I'm
6,
10 or 11.
7,
yeah.
10 or 11, and he goes out there and wins the championship because of some rule changes. But he won that championship fair and square. He played by the rules, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, he didn't run the whole season, this, that, and the other." Well, he played by the same rules they did, but that was freaking amazing to me. Is for him to be out of that car that long. When it takes a driver, it takes a team, it takes a crew chief, it takes a spotter, and it takes an owner. It takes all the parts to line up. It's like the stars line up in heaven to win a championship. And it takes everything. And for him to come back in, jump back in that car like he never missed a minute with that crew, that was one of the craziest things I ever saw. But I want to see a champion win that won it the right way, with integrity, got out there and worked his ass off, and has been beating at this thing for a while. And that's what we've been seeing for the past several years is these champions that have been out there multiple years that are now winning. I mean, Joey Logano just won his first one. And how many years he been out there? I mean, he was young, but
yeah, I think
2018 made 10 years when he won it.
Yeah, so he'd been out there 10 years and finally won that thing. I love seeing that. I'm not a Joey Logano fan, but I don't want to get like Gordon. Okay, this is exactly what happened with Jeff Gordon. He jumped into the sport. He won a championship. Okay, because he's Jeff Gordon, he can get away with that. But if we had a young guy do that right now, he would have to gain respect later on down the road because it's not like he earned it at this point. But to see him out there for 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years and finally winning one, that's freaking awesome right there.
Let me ask you this, Randy, just because we talked about Joe Logano winning in his 10th year. The fact is, he started when he was 18, and that means he's only about 28, 29 when he won that first championship. Would he, in your eyes, maybe be the next guy who could possibly go out and tie Jimmie, Dale, and Richard's record?
I don't know that we'll ever see that again. I don't. What it takes, first of all, okay. And if you look at what happened. Jimmie Johnson goes out there and wins his 7th championship, but he did it with Hendrick Motorsports from day one. Okay, they've been building something since day one. Logano's had to switch teams Maybe he switches again one day. We don't know, but that really comes into play when it comes to winning multiple championships. I honestly think Joey Logano will win 4 championships. That's what I look for out of him. I don't know that we will ever see the day, because drivers are getting younger. Let's take notice of this, okay? I've been telling people for the past 4 or 5 years that in the next decade we're going to see drivers that are 10 years and out. They're going to be in for 10 and they're going to be out, because there's so many young, talented drivers that's going to be coming in that's going to push them out. You can't go out there at 45 years old and run with these 22-year-olds that know what they're doing consistently. That's the problem. You can go out there and beat them at a racetrack, but you're not going to beat them throughout the year. And that's where, to me, that's where racing's going. It's starting to get younger. And
you're not wrong, because Carl Edwards, he was about the first one to do that. He was in, what, only 11 years?
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Is Carl Edwards was in fine physical shape. I mean, he was probably in the best shape of any driver out there when he was racing full time. How many people can turn a backflip off a car? Come on. I mean, you don't want to see me to a turn. If I turn a backflip off a car, I'm fixing to be laying down there looking like a damn whale, probably a drunk ass whale.
Next, probably.
Yeah, and I may have a few things broke. It won't be the first time, but you know, I've Carl Edwards a few things in my life.
Really quick, our buddy Jake left a $1.99 super chat. He asked, Randy, do you have a podcast?
I have one. I haven't had time. I do. It's at Randy the Plumber. It's at SoundCloud. I'm going to start having some new episodes starting next week. I used to do one pretty regularly, and then I got sidetracked with all this Corona stuff going on. And I'm actually a plumber, so we stay pretty busy. You know, I didn't just steal the name Randy the Plumber. I've been doing it for 35 years, and I've seen some shit, let me tell you. But, yeah.
Someone's got to cut care of that toilet, all that toilet paper they brought, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is. It keeps us running wide open.
So I think we should probably jump into some of the stories that have come out from this week. The first one from USA Today said that Jimmie Johnson is looking at possibly delaying his retirement and will return in 2021. So I want to ask all you guys, whichever one of you guys want to go first. One, is that the right decision? And two, are you looking forward to that?
Don't make me go first.
Sloppy, go ahead, man. You haven't been able to say much.
Yeah, Randy's been having one heck of a time, man. I've just been kicking back, listening, and having a great time. Yeah, so, I mean, look, if you're a 7-time champ, I think you have the right to tell yourself when you want to retire, like how you want to retire and when you want to go out. And honestly, this year, and Randy touched on how he was a big Hendrick fan and all that, you could tell this year, Hendrick has picked it up. With the races we've seen so far, they've had about 3 races this year so far to where Hendrick looked like they had the best car. You know, we looked and saw LA to Las Vegas. He led the most laps, had that tire issue. Bowman won Auto Club, and we saw at Phoenix, Elliott was back at the top again. You know, Johnson was up there in the top 5 or 10 every single week, running really consistently. So I would have loved to see what this year would have turned out if this, of course, COVID-19 didn't happen, which is very unfortunate. But I think if Jimmie were to take this year as kind of that mulligan and just kind of let it go and fully retire in 2021, I wouldn't have any problem with it whatsoever. You're a 7-time champ. You have a right to retire when you want to retire. And would it affect the free agency moves a little bit? I don't know yet. Will NASCAR make an exception due to the virus and stuff? I don't know. We're just got to see what happens.
And yeah, Randy, this is our other co-host, Darian. He had come in a bit later tonight. So, you know, Darian, Randy, Darian.
Hi, Randy. You're not screaming like in your videos.
Well, I mean, I can scream if you want me to.
Oh, no, I'm good right now.
I took those headphones out right on time.
No, it's all good. Yeah. No, sorry I'm late, guys. I just came from commentating the Pro League for PS4. Castro, he won a last lap pass over.
That was crazy. On the side.
I have no idea what happened there. The 46 of Selby, he looked like he had it in the bag, but then the 24 came down on him. He wrecked. So basically, a lap truck cost him the race, but he still got a top 5. And then all of a sudden, Fluffy was leading, but then coming towards the final lap, I believe he started running out of fuel.
Started sputtering,
and then gave the lead to the 27 of Castro. who was behind the leaders for most of the race, was like as far as 10 or no, not 10, I'd say 6 to 8 seconds back throughout the whole race, but it was still in the top 5 and then ended up winning on that last lap. So I don't know, it could have a good chance to get drafted there.
How did Rusty do tonight?
Oh, he was 2 laps down. No, I'm sorry. He was 2 laps down, man. But luckily, he was off the pace. But you know what? He's a respectable driver, so he got out of the way. But Trey Normile, a.k.a. Rod Gator, got an 8th place finish. So he kept progressing throughout the whole race, too. So that was cool of him.
Nice.
But yeah, it was cool.
So we were actually, you came in just in time. USA Today had said that Jimmie Johnson is talking about delaying his retirement and returning in 2021. So I guess, 1, are you down with that? 2, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm down with that 100%. Let me tell you something. I mean, in NASCAR, in all sports, you have farewell tours. And honestly, when you look back at it, I think NASCAR was like one of the first sports to really do it. You saw it with Richard Petty back in the day. Before Dale Sr. retired, Jared, if I'm not mistaken, Sr. was planning on doing one with about 3 other drivers, like 2003, wasn't it?
Yeah,
is that true?
Yeah, it's like between 03 and 05 they'd originally planned. It was like him, Rusty, Martin, and like
Ricky Rudd.
Yeah, those 4 were gonna go on one big one.
If he would have had he lived, that would have been probably the greatest farewell tour ever. But then towards the end of towards the 2000s, you start to see Rusty Wallace, then Jeff Gordon, and then Dale Jr., Tony Stewart. So it's only fitting that these farewell tours go the right way. And to have Johnson's abrupted because of something that's outside of his control, yeah, I don't really know about that. And plus, not only that, he's doing extremely well this year. A lot of people had him down and out. Even at one point, I believe we all did at one point or another, especially after last year's performance, just because we're so used to, we always marveled at the excellence that was him and Chad Knaus, but then, had the crew chief swaps all last year, that sort of thing, and didn't make the playoffs. So that's never good. But I mean, before the Corona stuff hit, was starting off the season like super, super well, was amazing. It was great to see him get a top 5 finish at in the Monte Carlo, if you don't remember, at Las Vegas. So there's a lot of potential here if he stays. I really want to see him run in the Gen 7. I really think that if you get him in the Gen 7, or if they do, I don't know what the plans are going to be. Maybe they push it back a year, or maybe they do like they did in 2007, have some races Gen 7, some races Gen 6. I just want to see him in at least one Gen 7 race, because I really feel like there's something about new packages. Johnson's always able to adapt, no matter the era, no matter the skill sets, no matter the competition. Just no matter what, he's always able to adapt. And if he's able to turn it around this season in the Gen 6, I can't wait to see what he's like in the Gen 7.
So my take on this, and I talked about this last week. I talked about it on Twitter. It doesn't feel right that this would be Johnson's last year the way it's going. But the issues that we run into, there's actually a few issues. One, Johnson's making it pretty clear he wants to try other forms of racing. He wants to try the IndyCar stuff. He wants to do a lot of other things. What is going on there?
I was fucking with you.
Distracted me.
I see you. I see you, monkey ass.
But anyways, so he's
Go ahead.
he's made it clear.
Go ahead, man. I'm just.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, it's always part of the stick.
He's made it pretty clear that he wants to go try some other forms of racing. And then the other issue we run into, and we talked about this a little bit with Randy earlier. We think that Brad Keselowski will be the one to come in. We think that that's who Hendrick want to go with. Then you run into the issue of the fact that, okay, I think Bowman probably going to end up being okay now for next year. Byron's going to be there for a little bit. Chase going to be there his whole career probably. But then you got that 4th car, and NASCAR won't let you have more than 4 cars. So then you run into the thing that I brought up last week. Okay, well, why don't we just run a junior motorsports car that's pretty much just a Hendrick car, just using the name is all. But then someone pointed out to me on Twitter, I didn't even think about this, Rick Hendrick's a co-owner of Junior Motorsports. He can't technically do that without selling his share. So it's not even worth doing that just for 1 year.
Yeah.
So we have this big issue that maybe we can't see Johnson do a whole season, but maybe there would just be 5 races he can do next year, because you can do a 5th car for up to 5 races.
Now, that would be if they already have something already lined up in the works. But, I mean, at this point, we're just hearing rumors. I don't know if there's anything, like, officially set in stone yet. if there's nothing set in stone at this point, then why not just put all the plans in order for him to run in the 48 again next year? Or if you already have a deal in place with one of the prospects over at JR Motorsports or Keselowski, yeah, I was about to say Brad Keselowski, then yeah, obviously running the 48 full time in 2021 for him, even though he's ran it for years, it's not going to change just because he wants to come back. Like, no, there's already stuff set in motion. If there's already plans that are concrete, then they can't. Then that would be really hard to change. But if the best we can get next year is him being back on a part-time basis, I'd be fine with that. Honestly, I would like to see him, at tracks. Like, obviously, has a tremendous history at the Brickyard. Even though I really don't like that race weekend, I mean, it would be cool to see him race, kind of like it was seeing Gordon race the 88 for one last time, even though that really wasn't scheduled. It was a last-minute thing. And then maybe, Daytona and obviously Charlotte. Maybe give it one last crack at the Roval, perhaps. Maybe avenge the 2018 finish, maybe. But I would like to see him run at those places.
Randy, what do you think about him? About Johnson possibly coming back in 21?
Well, Johnson's a 7-time champion, and Jimmie Johnson can do whatever the hell Jimmie Johnson wants to do.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I think he needs to come back and race next year. I don't think look at man, that dude's got some fans. I don't know how many millions of Jimmie Johnson fans there are out there, but there's a shit ton of them. So I think he will need to come back just to satisfy his fans, because he don't want to go out like that. And plus, every track they go to when you're on your farewell tour, you get a hell of a lot of gifts. And I'd be liking them gifts. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they give them some damn good gifts.
Oh, yeah. If you look back at Richard Petty's retirement tour in 92, I remember he got so much stuff. Like, I remember in Charlotte, there was this big ceremony before the race even began. Like, they were singing, like, this. I can't remember what the country song was, but, like, it was the last race at Charlotte. It was some old country song from, like, the 60s. I guess they played it again. And, like, they were playing that before the races. And then he would get some paintings, some portraits, or, like, hell, I wouldn't even be surprised if he got the key to a whole damn city. He probably did. So, yeah, I mean, just like the gifts is another cool part about the retirement tours too, and I kind of want to see more of that as well. Oh yeah, and also don't forget Gordon's ponies. That's right, he got ponies at Texas. That's right, he did.
I was gonna say too, these farewell tours, like, they were kind of gone for a while if you really think about it, and they came back when Gordon was retiring. That's when we saw the farewell tour happen. Then we had Tony Stewart, and then these tracks were like, all right, how can we one up what we did with Gordon and with Tony Stewart? And Stewart got some pretty cool stuff. I'm trying to remember some of the things he got. And now I'm sure Johnson was starting to get a few. Junior had a pretty good farewell tour. Jared, I think some of the stuff he got. One of those things in particular was his dad's car that he drove. He got it at Talladega, I think. It was his old Wrangler car, I think.
Yep.
So he got one of those, and can't even imagine what Johnson would have gotten too. So I love the NASCAR farewell tours. Honestly, I think they are the best in sports, if you ask me.
At the same time, though, I hate for some it's worked out who might have deserved one that didn't get one. Like 2017 was Junior's retirement year, but at the same time, last second it was Matt Kenseth, and he just got one little send off in Miami, and that was it. Even I think Paul Menard got more than Matt Kenseth did.
Oh yeah, because Kenseth was like, it was like official, but then it was unofficial. It's like, hey, I'm not coming back to the 20, but I'm not actually retiring though. But then they're like, oh, okay, let's just lump him in with Junior's retirement and kind of give him sort of a semi send off there. But I don't know. I guess some drivers, some athletes, they don't like the whole retirement tour things too. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I can think of one. Dirk Nowitzki, like, he kind of got like an unofficial one, but like he didn't say like, oh yeah, I'm retiring until his final home game ever. So I guess some drivers, they just want to be low key about it. They don't really want all of the attention. And I've even seen some sports fans kind of dislike retirement tours in a sense, because they're like, oh well, yeah, sure, he played for 19 or 20 seasons, but I don't know. It's like there's always like an argument against it. Like, I don't know. I don't really understand like what the big deal is against it sometimes though. But I don't know. I like it. I like it for the entertainment purposes.
I can see that, and I remember probably one of the more away from racing I can think of that didn't really have any kind of retirement tour was Peyton Manning. You just you didn't know what he was going to do, but then once he won the Super Bowl, you're thinking that'd be fitting if he just retired, and he just actually did. So
yeah. So I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is that drivers, I mean, they don't have to do retirement tours. I mean, it's up to them whether they choose to go out like that or not. Dale Jr. was who does he? Just
I'm
trying to do
fucking
that.
with you, man.
Yeah, of course.
We're boring Randy with the boring
Oh,
racing
man.
stuff. Let's be funny.
No, I love you, Randy. But no, what I'm saying is that it's up to these drivers whether they want to do retirement tours or not. I mean, Junior, he could have just said, no, I don't really feel like doing all the emotional stuff. I just want to race and then just leave. Like if he wanted to do that, then I'm probably sure people would oblige, but it wouldn't be as fun that way. See, retirement tours, you don't have to do them, but they're so much better if they're done, and
Yeah.
especially if they're done correctly too.
But them retirement tours, they put butts in the seats though.
Yeah, they do. That's the thing. They do. Especially just look at the numbers for 2017 when Junior was going. A lot of tickets were bought just to see him race one last time.
See, before we go into the lightning round, Randy, have you ever heard of the YouTubers 5 Points Vids and Urinating Tree?
What the hell did you just say?
I'll take that as a no. So they're two friends of ours who they're big sports YouTubers, and they have this podcast, and I think you would fit amazing with them on it, like for like a guest appearance, and called The Dumpster Fire. They literally talk about all sports. So like the draft's coming up, they'll talk about that, racing. Well, like we got to get you set up with them because they would absolutely love you, dude. They would. All right, yeah, I'll me or Darian will send them something tonight and see if they can get that set up because dude, you would fit perfect.
Oh yeah, you'll fit perfectly in with their podcast too. Yeah, it would be amazing. Yeah, David Lamb was just on there last night actually. Yeah, talking about his little iRacing fiasco too, with him and Vargas. And the funny thing is Vargas was involved in that too. That's the funniest part.
So let's Darian, you think we're about hour in? What do you think about going in the lightning round? Do your intro.
Okay, everybody, what time is it? You know what time it is. It's time for the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Jarrett, what do we have on tap in this pandemic?
Well, okay, so there's a few stories that we'll just like touch on really quick and go through. The first one is my personal favorite. NASCAR and Fox's YouTube channel's been hacked by...
That's what y'all get for striking down my stuff. That's what y'all get. I don't feel bad.
So that was pretty funny. This also, I believe, is either today or this week is the anniversary of Alan Kulwicki passing. It's been 27 years since he passed. So rest in peace, Alan Kulwicki.
That's crazy.
And we were just talking about him a little while ago. Ain't that unusual?
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, some chartered teams are asking NASCAR to have advance payments from them to help in the coming weeks to make up for the sponsorship dollars that are gone. They had a meeting with NASCAR today, so there's no news, but Adam Stern is reporting on that. Let's see, go down the list a little bit. NASCAR, and basically because of iRacing, has been all over the mainstream media in the past week. They've been on the Today Show. Dale Jr. and Chase Elliott were on SportsCenter, and it was one of the prime talking points for Around the Horn. So, NASCAR back on ESPN could happen.
Oh, wait, Around the Horn? Wait, even Around the Horn was talking about it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that show. Dude, I'm telling y'all,
the...
NASCAR back on ESPN 2024, 2025. It's going to happen. It'll happen.
Speedway Motorsports also is letting its 1,200 employees work from home instead of having to lay any of them off, according to Adam Stern. So far, so good on that front. And then NASCAR has a bunch of races they put on YouTube this week. You got to check them out. There's the Fall Texas race in 2010 where Burton fought Gordon. The Fall 2014 race at Texas where Keselowski fought Gordon. The Xfinity race where Chase Elliott had his first win at Texas. The Jimmie Johnson's last win at Texas so far in the spring of 17. Junior's first win at Texas. And they're going to be showing both of the races where Gordon versus Rusty. And I want to ask, since Randy, you're a Gordon fan, how those duels between Rusty and Gordon at Bristol, how on the edge of your seat and loud did you get for those?
I tell you was on the edge of your seat so far you didn't need a damn seat. Look, you talking about some good stuff right there, and which brings me to something. I hadn't really announced it yet. I'm fixing to start it, but with no sports on, it's been kind of boring. So I'm fixing to start a new TikTok series. It's going to be my top 50 moments in NASCAR history, and I'm going to do 50 of those videos over the next probably 50 days, and then I'm going to go. If we still don't have sports, I'm going to choose another subject, maybe baseball, and do my top 50 in baseball. But I'm fixing to start that tomorrow. Actually, is my top 50 moments in NASCAR history. So it'll be 50 different 1-minute videos coming out over the next 50 days.
Nice.
We'll
Get it
see
on
what
TikTok.
happens.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll make sure to keep on taps for that, man, for sure.
You know, you talk about all those duels of Jeff and Rusty at Bristol. You know, Jared just mentioned all those races NASCAR uploaded. Where were they? Texas races. Where are we going this weekend?
Bristol, baby.
We're gonna get tons of great races to watch from Bristol this week. Hopefully.
a lot. Yes,
I bet you you're going to see Dale Earnhardt versus Terry Labonte. I bet you we're going to see
You
that.
will.
Which
You
one?
will see that.
I want to see that one in the best quality possible.
Which
Gordon
one?
versus Rusty Wallace, 2002, the bump and run. You're going to see that.
That is going to be
Labonte.
on Friday night on
Yeah.
NASCAR, or Friday
Yep.
afternoon on NASCAR's YouTube channel. They're showing Rusty versus Gordon 2002.
And hey, I gotta say this. I rewatched the 08 Bristol night race. That one's very underrated.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's underrated. I remember that one because Junior, like, he was screwed from the very beginning. Because I was a diehard Junior fan at the time. He had to serve a pit road speeding penalty, or not a speeding penalty. It was a penalty of some sort.
He passed before the start of the race.
And he basically was a lap down the whole race. I was like, man, this race sucks. And he was shot.
The bad thing is the previous two Bristol races, he had finished 5th in both of those. So he'd been doing good at Bristol.
Yeah, but then just shot himself in the foot.
Really quick, just so we can finish out the lightning round. Homestead's iRacing race brought in 255,000 new viewers who hadn't watched a Cup race yet in 2020.
Ooh.
So
yeah, I like those numbers. That sounds sweet.
And that was according to Nielsen Media Research. So about a fourth of the people who watched that race had not watched a Cup race this year before that.
So these are probably people who just watch esports then.
Just gamers, maybe.
Probably
maybe
a lot of them.
iRacers.
Well,
Yeah, so it's either... Oh, go ahead.
And with this past, that set the record for most watched esports event ever. And now the Texas iRacing deal with 1.34 million viewers now has shattered their own record. So NASCAR, by a huge, almost double what is in second place behind them, has the record for most watched esports event ever.
And Jarrett, also one thing too with that broadcast from Texas, even for me at Fox, I had a paid programming on Fox. I didn't have it on the main Fox. It was on
Same.
FS1. And that was not only for my state of Georgia, that was for other states too.
Illinois too.
Imagine if every state had it on Fox right there. I think we probably could have reached the 3 million mark even, I think, if that was the case.
Yeah, I don't understand what the deal with that was. I guess some Fox affiliates had it, some didn't. Now, I want to make this clear too. That's kind of out of Fox's control, at least the guys higher up. It basically all boils down to what the local affiliates have to say about it. They get the final say on these. My local affiliate out here in Vegas for Fox, they showed the race on the main Fox channel. Thank you guys. You guys know what's up. Now for Charlotte, it wasn't even on the main Fox. Now Charlotte's the racing capital of the United States of America, man. I mean, that's NASCAR country, and you don't show the race on the main Fox channel. I don't even think it was on the main FS1 channel, if I'm not mistaken, either. So it's just it wasn't on there entirely. Which
A few quick facts about the race. Our buddy Eric, he couldn't be on here tonight just because of a clashing of schedules.
We're busy. We're busy sometimes.
But he pointed out the 2020 Cup winners so far have all still been double digits, because Hamlin won the 511, the 22 of Logano won the second race, the 88 won the third race, the last race so far Logano again won in the 22, then Hamlin won the esports race in the 11, and Timmy Hill won in the 66.
Yeah, so that's
you're telling me basically I need to add another 8 to my number this year. Is what you're telling me.
Yes. Basically, yes.
Fair enough.
Especially for the pro league. Yeah.
And
I'll talk to my people.
I think all you will respect this. Matt DiBenedetto lived out a dream during that race. He got to race in his underwear only.
That's a dream. Was that really a dream of his? Or, yeah,
that's a meme on Twitter. That's a meme on Twitter.
It literally went viral on Twitter. It's him just standing in front of his rig, and he's just sitting there in his underwear.
Yeah,
he looked like he's an anime hero.
Speaking of good stuff, NBC Sports and Dustin Long reported that North Wilkesboro will make a return to racing on iRacing very soon. They scanned it. I forgot. It wasn't too long ago, but iRacing and Dale Jr. went out there to scan it, and now it's going to be up there. So maybe we'll see a North Wilkesboro race on there. Kyle Busch was already testing out Rockingham on iRacing, so.
Could you imagine a week that's supposed to be a bye week for NASCAR if they do that?
They better.
I think what's going to happen, we're going to see it, and I've seen some teasers from some people in the iRacing community on Twitter. 5 Flag Speedway. Cup Series.
Oh my
Wait for
god!
it. I think it's gonna happen.
Also,
if you
just-
know anything about that track,
just
my
an
lord.
all-around racing news story here that I think all of us would want to know as racing fans. The Indy 500 has been rescheduled to August 23rd.
Yeah.
So it would be a lot easier to do the Indy Charlotte double this time. If
it'll be a lot
Charlotte's
easier.
even on
Yeah,
its
it'll be a
scheduled
lot
day.
easier.
And then the Eldora Speedway has donated almost 3,000 face masks to their local community so far. So again, once again, just each week we keep finding these awesome stories of the NASCAR community giving back. And it's just, because I think last week, was it Jordan Anderson had said one of their sponsors was making ventilators and masks.
He did.
So just a lot of good stuff all around. Also, according to Adam Stern, NASCAR is interested in continuing, English is still difficult for me, the Pro Invitational Series even after the virus shutdown ends. So
They should.
I mean, we were talking about this last year. Esports is here to stay. I can't believe it took NASCAR to basically put it into the mainstream, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
We'll take it. We'll take it any way we get. And the next step, once Heat figures out their problems, hopefully have Heat on the national TV sometime.
And then
Don't tempt me, Darian. Don't tempt me. I'm waiting for that day.
And then according to Adam Stern, NASCAR teams though are considering whether/how they're going to implement some temporary cost-cutting measures, and the big part is cutting the workforce. So we might be seeing some layoffs from the teams in the next couple weeks in massive amounts. That's just especially because going out of the lightning round, we can go right into some of the scheduling stories right now. There's a ton this week that came out about scheduling. For one, Adam Stern had also half the show is Adam Stern reported. Stern,
thank you, Adam. We love you.
We gotta get Adam on here.
We do.
But basically, the next gen car has been delayed. The release of it. We don't know if it'll be during 2021 or 2022. But what I found really interesting and what makes me think 2022 is that literally not even like a few hours after they announced that, Toyota publicly announced that they want it to be back to 2022 because of their teams. I'm like, so I'll pass to you guys. I'll start with Danny. When do you think we're going to be seeing this next gen car based on the info we got so far?
It could just be delayed to 2022, but at the same
We
time,
forgot the poll.
oh,
Hold on a second.
Rewind.
The poll.
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and put my 2 cents on it then while I'm still saying.
Yeah, Darian, you look it up while we're doing that.
I think it would be good to see what they did in 2007 again. Honestly, looking back on that year, I liked it. It was good to see, how was a season affected based on driving 2 different cars. Honestly, Jimmie was good. Jimmie proved that he was good in both cars that year. So.
Oh yeah, it was interesting. You had to be good in both. You couldn't just be good in the old Gen 4. You had to be good in the car of tomorrow too. I'd say Gordon's strengths, the Gen 4. Oh my God, 2007, he was a beast that year. But then Johnson towards the end, I mean, he was just consistent no matter what.
10 races.
Wait, how many did Johnson win? 10?
10.
Oh damn, that's right, he did. That's right.
Gordon won. It was literally one of Gordon's best statistical seasons, but it was Johnson's best statistical
I always
season.
say that 2007 Martinsville race was the perfect indicator of what the entire 2007 season was. You had just an absolute battle to the end between Gordon and Johnson.
Exactly. Oh,
Darren,
by the way, I have
the
the poll up. Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
share
about
screen.
to put the poll up right now. We're about to share screen, and I found it too. Let's share screen it here.
And Randy, you're in for a good time with the poll here.
Oh, you're gonna love
So-
this. So here's the poll.
I'm just trying to figure out if you just said testicle season. I'm still. I swore you said his best testicle season.
I mean, it might have been.
Statistical. I mean, he had a kid that
He
year.
did not get kicked once there. It was a great season for him.
He did get his first kid that year. That's right, didn't he?
So
He did. Yeah.
So Randy, every week what we do is I run a poll on my channel and just ask people what they thought of the race. And this week, people didn't disappoint. We had 4.1 thousand votes, so good job everybody. A little bit higher than last week. And 63% of you thought it was great. 28% of you thought it was good. 6% thought it was average. Darian is probably the 1% to think that it was
Darian.
below
Oh,
average.
no, it was great. No, I hit great. No, I hit great. No way. No.
And
no
2%
way.
thought it was bad.
Exposed.
No, I hit great. I swear to God. I don't know what that was. Anyway, I thought it
Darian
was great,
hates
just like everyone else.
esports.
Just like
It
everyone.
sounds like he's having a testicle season.
Yeah, having a testicle season right
And
now.
a kick
What
right
the
into
fuck
the
is
groin. You hate to
Yeah.
see it. Rough
this?
season.
Just a kick straight up.
All right, let's see what we got in terms of comments. Darian, you might need to read them.
Timmy!
Yeah, you got to
Let's
read
go.
them. You should read them, Darian.
Okay, I'll read them.
Oh,
So
no.
first off, we got Timmy. What's going on? And then right here, the first one. Let's see. We will all tell our kids someday that Timmy Hill won a NASCAR race. Also, Priest with that epic save after going through the grass. Overall, great race. Yes, and the funny thing about that is, if Priest did that in real life
Black
at
flag.
Texas, either a black flag or the car would just get torn up. No
I know
way
that
it's gonna survive.
firsthand. I know that
Yeah, no-
firsthand. It ain't
Yeah.
fun.
It's not fun at all. Nobody can survive through the grass, man. It just tears up the cars.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just the way the cars are right now. And then Jacob, the racing was awesome, and Suarez getting parked after trying to take out Ty was the funniest thing I've seen in weeks. Yes, that's right. I don't know if y'all talked about that earlier, but Suarez, man,
No,
that was.
he thought it was Austin, but he was going for Ty. He said,
Oh,
go for it, and he almost wrecked Ty. He was trying to wreck the wrong Dillon brother too.
What an
Suarez-
asshole. What an asshole.
I do not think he will be the last one to get parked in this series.
No, he's
No.
not
I
going to be the
can't
last
wait.
one, but he'll always be the first one, though. I'm not going to lie. We're always going to remember him as the first one who got parked. Let's see. Championship seasons, Timmy Hill, iRacing
Fish-
2020.
Fish
absolutely.
Productions.
With the ultimate swing. Yeah, the ultimate swing and the miss on the wrong Dillon brother, by the way. Keep that in mind. Let's see. Denny delivers Sim Texas Racing, Real Texas Racing. I think most of us would agree with that. Even Eric would. Let's see. Tim A all the way. Tim A.
Tim
Out
A.
of 10.
Let's
and then
see.
right there.
Let's
Timmy,
scroll. Let's scroll down because we're just getting Timmy's now. Let's see if we can. Oh my God.
Oh, what is this? Number 15, Burger King.
The last thing you want on your Burger King burger is someone's foot fungus.
Yeah.
We also, Randy, have just random comments that people leave have nothing to do with
Like
the
lyrics.
race.
We have song lyrics right here. What
And-
is
This is
one of,
Rammstein, so it's in
Rammstein
German.
song.
Yeah.
You guys
We
have
got-
way too much time on your hands, but I don't blame you because of what's going on.
we got German song lyrics, of course. Oh, J.R. Smith. I love J.R. Smith on here. Since the world's coming to an end because of
Voldemort.
Oh man.
Voldemort. I'll post this song.
Oh my God, I love this song.
Oh,
That's REM. It's the end of the world as we know it.
oh, damn. So what a fitting song right there. I like it.
Oh,
And I
this-
love how you guys just put all the lyrics too, not some. You put all of them. You guys go
Copy
all-
and paste
all out
is a
with that.
beautiful thing.
Yes. And I mean, seeing more Timmy and Suarez comments. This is another important one. My Fox channel didn't air it where I am, so I watched your BS stream, Jarrett, and had fun. Well, thank
Well,
you,
good.
Andrew. We appreciate it.
And I saw
we
Andrew.
wish-
I
we
want to
wish we
shout
could
this
show
out.
you the race, but we can't do that.
I want to I want to shout this out. Andrew made an awesome video. Just remember what day it is, but it's on how much the podcast people and the podcast suck. But remember what day it is. It's a great video. I think my comment is pinned on his channel. So, yay! Anyway, let's see what the last comment was.
All right.
Oh my God, they had Dale Jr.'s retirement speech. I actually used that speech in one of my speech classes.
He's got the whole retirement.
Oh
speech.
my God.
Wow. Okay, that's
Thank God.
a like for me.
All right, yeah, scroll all the way to the bottom. Let's see who the last comment is.
Imagine if copy and paste wasn't a
Oh,
thing.
Ultimate Dragon. She's been watching my series too. Yeah. Oh, that's Johnny Benson's first win. You know what? For you, Dragon, I might have to watch it just for you.
She is a firm believer that Keselowski is not going to the 48.
It's an IDK player.
IDK player. Is Randy
Randy
actually a
actually a
plumber? Are you actually a plumber or no?
Hey,
He
he's a
is.
plumber.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I am.
okay.
I'm actually 30. Been a plumber for 36 years now.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. So
Yeah.
I have to ask this, and not to be rude. How did a boomer like you get on TikTok? Just a question.
Darian!
I have to. I just wanted to ask that. I'm not gonna lie. I just wanted to ask. How'd you get on TikTok though?
Where's the leave meeting button?
I don't know what the hell a boomer is. What the hell is a boomer?
Oh, it's
People-
somebody who's really old. and
A
doesn't
dumb
know-
word that a dumb word that a guy like Derry would make. That's what it is.
I mean, come on. He just. I had to ask him.
Thank you to the other White Castle for the $1.99 super chat.
the way that happened.
Well,
F's in the
Randy,
chat
tell
for
me the way
Darian.
it happened.
F's in the chat for Darian right
Well,
now.
No, all right. Explain.
Randy's been great having you here. I know you're about to leave because of what.
No, he can't. No,
he's.
he's funny. See, he takes jokes. He's funny. He's good.
I'm gonna answer his silly ass question. So back last year, it was sometime in October. My daughter, I do more stupid shit around the house than you can imagine, and I mean it's just what it is. I get to drinking a few beers, and all the kids' friends come over here, and they're like, "Tell us crazy stories from the '80s and shit." And I do, but she told me, she said I needed to make a TikTok video and put it on TikTok, and I said, "What the hell's a TikTok?" And she showed me some of the videos, so I made one, and all I was doing was standing there hollering, "Oh shit!" And damn,
Yeah, the rest is history.
It got like 20,000 views in 3 hours or something, and I'm like, "Well, hell, here we go."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's very interesting. See, I wanted to know that. I know I said it in a funny way, but just knowing that TikTok has such a younger audience too. I was just curious how an older gentleman like yourself got into it and stuff. I mean, it's not a bad story.
Yeah,
man. That's interesting.
I do a live show almost every night on TikTok. And
I have yet to watch your live shows. I got to watch one of the live shows though. That's for sure.
It gets pretty crazy because I get into the scotch, and I get out my guitar, and there's just one problem: I can't play a damn guitar. But I get the son of a bitch out, and I play my guitar, and I sing a lot of times. I sing "Happy Birthday" to somebody every night in there, but I can't sing. See, that's the thing. I can't play the guitar, nor can I sing, so I'm just a complete jackass. And it gets pretty crazy. Yeah,
that is funny. Can you sing
real
for us
damn
to close the show tonight? Can you sing for us?
Oh my God.
We're not
Please.
closing
Please
anytime
say-
soon, so.
But yeah, not yet. We're not closing yet, but when we do, please, just a request.
Darren, let's see that last comment. So
Yeah, I was just about to say, last comment.
got the
toilet
19th
paper.
Amendment.
Toilet paper. Yeah, 19th Amendment from NASCAR
It's
Weekly
the
Podcast Mod.
definition of toilet paper.
Yeah, so we got the definition of toilet paper.
Sloppy,
and
where's that
it's
clown
the whole
horn?
thing. It's the whole thing.
Where's
What is
that-
wrong with you guys?
Sloppy, get
Where
the
is
clown
this-
horn.
This is perfect. It's
Doing,
perfect,
man.
Good
I
job,
got a clown horn
Jacob.
here exactly for this reason. The definition of toilet paper.
Good job,
Oh,
Jacob.
man.
I love that. That's the final comment.
All right,
and
yeah.
That'll do it for this edition of the poll. And that is what? That 4.1 thousand voters is what?
Hey!
Cowbell. I love hearing me some cowbell. That's right.
This is for the end of the show, my
4.1
Dale
thousand.
call.
You see
He's
what
got
my
the-
cowbell has on it.
Go to hell, all this.
I'm gonna do this to him. Yeah, roll Tide, man.
Go on!
This is the greatest show ever.
Oh, Johnny, we done opened up a barrel of damn monsters.
I was in their drum line. I went to school there, so I'm not one of those. typical fans.
I'm a UT grad, so I'm always gonna be proud of the balls, no matter how bad we are at football.
Notre
No, you guys
Dame.
are good. You guys are coming back though. You guys are on the.
Yeah, in
I-
10,
I-
in 10
I-
years.
I-
In 10 years.
I wouldn't even have told nobody that shit. I wouldn't even have told nobody that shit right there.
I think if we even can play football, I think Vols will have a fairly good season.
Yeah, probably like 8-4 or something like that, maybe.
They should go 3-9 at least.
Yeah, I mean, hey, worst comes to worst, you guys got a good swim team. You know, you
Good swim.
Look at those shoes. Anyway,
Hey, look at the tattoo, yo.
That shit don't wash off. That shit don't wash
Yeah.
off.
You know, it's funny. Actually, one of my good friends from college, his name is Bo. He's a graduate from UT. Now he's doing his grad school at Mississippi State, and yeah, he said he likes UT way better. So
He's full of shit.
He's-
The women are better looking than Starkville, trust me.
Oh, are they?
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'll have to go see myself.
Um,
I take your word for it and all, but I like to go myself. I like to go see myself.
all right,
man.
let's get back to some of the NASCAR stuff. So, NASCAR and IndyCar have talked about doing a ton of double headers to make up a lot of their missed races.
Do it.
And they're saying it will take place, if they can do it, at Texas, Richmond, Gateway, Iowa, Road America, and Mid-Ohio. And that's, again, according to Adam Stern. So I guess, guys, we'll start off with you, Sloppy. What do we think about that? What's your thoughts about Indy and IndyCar and NASCAR doubleheading?
I love it. Are you kidding me? That is easily one of the best decisions you could make, especially during what's happening this year. Why not, instead of competing against one another, we know IndyCar fans and NASCAR fans, they may not get along in the best of times. We got this, but I mean, just saying, come together, bring motorsports together. You're bringing one of the most historic series of all time with another historic series for a weekend. You're not going to see baseball and basketball ever have something like that. You're never going to see football and hockey have something like that. Bring two different sports, motorsports together. That's something incredible. I can see incredible ticket deals happening. Penske, there's some teams that are affiliated with NASCAR teams. Penske could do some great stuff with that, with their NASCAR team and IndyCar teams at the same track. I think it's a win. Do it. Take advantage of this opportunity.
It's very sad that it took this pandemic to finally make this happen, because before that, this was going nowhere fast. It was a good idea in theory, but nobody wanted to step up, and say, hey, let's try and make this happen. I don't know why. I really don't understand why, though, just because what Sloppy just said is like, yeah, you don't see football and basketball doing this. Well, yeah, those are two totally different sports. That's understandable. But motorsports, that's different. They should have done this a long time ago. Honestly, this should have been a regular thing for years now that you think about it. It's a no-brainer. Have two of the biggest motorsports in North America basically, on the same stage together. Now, I do disagree with this, though. I do think the Grand Prix, the Indy Grand Prix, shouldn't be leading into the Xfinity race. If you ask me, Xfinity race, then the Indy, it should be flipped, basically. Xfinity race leading into the Indy Road Course Grand Prix over on the IndyCar side of things. But other than that, I'm glad it's happening. Thank goodness. And yeah, I talk too much. I'm glad it's happening at the end of the day, though. And I mean, I just can't wait to see these IndyCars in person, too, man. I know we're trying to plan to be down there. If that is the first race back, please be the first race back. That would be amazing. And just being down there for the atmosphere, too. And I know he mentioned this earlier. I can't wait for Indy in August. That's going to be a lot different. Yeah, I know, Mr. Plumber, man. I'm sorry. I know. I'm just speaking.
Well, now that you're up, Randy, what are your thoughts on India and NASCAR?
What are your thoughts, Randy?
Is it fucking tomorrow yet?
Yeah. No, don't worry. You're not the first, and you won't be the last. Trust me.
I'd like to see
the plates on.
It'd be cool as hell. I mean, you think about it. You got an opportunity there for some guys to cross over too. And that's something that might be very interesting. If some of these guys start crossing over and get a chance to run IndyCar, and some of these IndyCar guys get a chance to run stock car.
That's right. Do you even watch any IndyCar at all, Randy? Do you watch any? Or
I watched the Indy 500, and I watched the Indy 500, and then I watched the Indy 500.
No, okay. So yeah, then yeah. What IndyCars have you watched? Oh, this Indy 500, that Indy 500, and then the Indy 500. That's about it. Like, oh, okay, that's understandable. Like most people.
See, I've watched 45 Indy 500s in a row.
Oh my goodness.
So the last 45, yeah.
When was your first?
3 years old. So 3 years old. 1975.
Holy.
Have you ever attended it?
Yeah, have you ever attended it?
No, I haven't. But back in the '80s, it ran on time delay.
Oh,
and you talking about something that would piss you off, and this happened. Rick Mears won that year. I think it was the second time to win, and we were about 15 laps till the end of the race, and a commercial came on. It was on ABC, and then they had a commercial for the ABC Nightly News. And in the previews of the commercial, it says, we'll be talking to Rick Mears about his Indy 500 victory today. Are you shitting me right now? 15 laps to go, and these assholes just told us who won? Oh my gosh! It's a good thing we didn't have cell phones.
And that's when they decided there needed to be live sports.
Who in their right mind thought that tape delaying races was a good idea?
Real quick,
they damn sure did it. Yeah. They told us who won the damn thing.
Yeah, before it even over.
This is a $2 super chat from Michael Klein, and he says that Tony Stewart needs to run every race that weekend. Yeah, our buddy Michael Klein has a really good point there. And Stewart has actually, according to Jenna Fryer, said he's interested in doing the NASCAR IndyCar doubleheader, as well as Jimmie Johnson. The only problem is, according to Bob Pockrass, that Stewart can't because of the 4-car rule for Stewart-Haas, so he'd have to race for another team. But I guess that sort of can lead right into where we're looking is those two right there, Johnson and Stewart, are already talking about it.
Wait.
You guys think anyone from either NASCAR or IndyCar might
Wait.
jump in there?
Get the rule out of there. Come on.
Yeah, they need to get that rule out there.
Wait, now hold on a minute though.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a fifth car for up to 5 races. Why can't he do it?
Xfinity
Not if you're
Series
a
is
car
different.
owner.
And if you're a car owner, and Xfinity also is a little more
This rule's
strict
so
on it.
out. It's so outdated. Get rid of the damn rule, NASCAR. This is
That's
ridiculous.
why you'll never see Jeff Gordon do a one-off start. You'll never see because there's rules behind it and everything.
See, there's so much potential with it. Come on, guys. You guys do your thing. But if we're going to talk about other guys switching, if we're going to talk about over on the IndyCar side of things, a guy maybe coming over doing the Xfinity race or maybe even the Cup race. I don't know. You never know at this point. Alexander Rossi is one guy that comes to mind. I would love to see him at least try. Joseph Newgarden. Newgarden's basically the American god over there in IndyCar and stuff, man. I've never seen a champion have braces though, so that was like a new thing.
You'll see Herta do it. Herta.
Oh yeah.
You'll
And also
see Herta do
Herta,
it.
dude, Colton Herta. For those of you who aren't as into IndyCar, he's basically I don't want to, I was about to say like, oh yeah, he's like the Jeff Gordon of IndyCar. He's like up and coming right now. You know what I'm saying?
He's the how would I just describe it? Talent wise, he has the hype like Reddick or Larson have when it comes to pure driving talent. That guy who's gonna come up and take over that sport. Because when Larson came in, everyone's like, dude, this kid is insane. Like this kid's gonna be incredible. And he's had his strides where he's shown it, and Herta's kind of showing that.
And talking with
I want to
Herta.
see Kyle Busch do both.
Oh yeah, Kyle Busch. I was about to say him too. Yes, that would be cool.
Yeah.
And even talking
Hey guys,
with Herta before.
I gotta step out, guys. I just got an emergency text message, and I gotta go handle a situation. Look, it was good being on with y'all. If you want me to get on with you next week, just give me a holler, and we'll do it again. But I got to go deal with this. Hey, y'all be good. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, of course, Randy. Thank you.
Thank you,
It's nice
Randy.
meeting you, sir. Appreciate
Thank you for
you.
being
Everyone,
on,
go
man.
follow him. Go follow him on TikTok.
All right, buddy.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Y'all
you.
be good.
His
That was
TikTok
Randy the Plumber.
his TikTok is in the description down below, the link to it.
Hey.
So
Hey,
get
I
on
called
TikTok.
I called Randy the Plumber a boomer. Give me my props.
He ain't even a boomer.
That's some balls. I know. That's the
Bruh.
funny
Who
part. about
this
it, too.
man? Who
That's
this
the funny
man?
part about it too.
I'll be honest, Derry, and I unsubscribed to you right there when you did that. That's what I was doing for those 5 seconds.
Okay, that's fine. That's
No,
fine.
I'm just kidding.
Like that's fine. Okay. Oh man, but no, Randy the Plumber. We'll have him on again eventually. I wish I could have been on the whole time, but I'm glad I got to spend at least like 30 minutes.
Is he still excellently connected to us or something?
No, it's just that's Zoom.
It takes a while.
sometimes. It takes a while, or maybe he just sat the phone down and maybe it's just closed, so he's not like officially out yet. But he'll be out eventually. It's just the way Zoom works.
Yeah, it would be funny though. It's like halfway through, it's like, oh, I'm still here. But yeah, I'd be honestly down for any crossover, to be completely honest with you, since we're not going to get one with the Indy 500 and Coke 600 this year for sure. I'm 100% down with just getting it all in one weekend. That'd be freaking awesome.
I was saying this. I'm pretty sure I'm going to plan to go to. He's still here.
He's been tricking us this whole time. Oh no, now he's gone. Okay.
I thought it was another prank for a second.
I was like,
I gotta fix
wait a
the
minute.
screen again.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, hold on here.
All right. So anyways, I'm a casual IndyCar fan, and I'm talking about how I'm wanting to go to Indy too. It's not convenient for me to go watch an IndyCar race just because there's really none that are close to me, or I'm not really as big enough fan to really go out of my way to go. If it was, long time ago when they come to Nashville Super Speedway and then I lived where I live now, yeah, it'd be really convenient to go.
That's right. They used to race out there, did they?
Honestly, now to think about it, they usually ran NASCAR at Nashville on an off weekend.
Yeah.
How was there never an IndyCar NASCAR doubleheader at Nashville? I don't get that.
Yeah, and here's why: ego. You got egos up top. Now, it's starting to change for NASCAR as a whole. Just talking with some of the people, but also, IndyCar. I mean, they have some egos over there as well. It's like nobody wants to lead into another. Like IndyCar doesn't want to lead into NASCAR. NASCAR doesn't want to lead into IndyCar. It's like, look, we don't have to throw the whole, all these labels around like, oh, this is going to be leading into that. No, just say, okay, we're both going to be running at the same place, same weekend, same series, that sort of thing. Just two different races. It doesn't have to lead into one another because us as fans, we get it. We get that you guys are trying to collab. It doesn't mean that one's bigger than the other. No, You guys are just trying to collab, do something historic here. And I guess that's one of the bright spots of this pandemic happening is that once it does pass, it's gonna eventually lead to some doubleheaders, and I hope that's the case.
I think that could have been a huge ticket seller. I think for Nashville is if they had a truck race Friday night, nationwide Friday night, or the nationwide Saturday night, and then Indy on Sunday.
That's right, because I remember some races back in 2011, 2010, they would do the race on Saturday night and then just leave Sunday completely open. Now, I do think they raced during one of the holidays. I can't remember if it was Father's Day or I can't remember.
Oh,
they used to race around one of the holidays, though.
It might have been Easter.
Easter, that's right. It was Easter. That's right. Really, in the early 2000s, early to mid 2000s, they would always race Easter weekend. And I kind of thought, well, is Nashville is it big enough to host an IndyCar race, or you know what I'm saying? I mean, is the track well enough? Is it that type of style of track to host it? Yes. So why doesn't it happen? I don't know. I'm just gonna blame more of that on track management, because if you haven't watched Danny's video on the famous Nashville Speedway, go watch it. I certainly learned a lot from there. I don't know. It wasn't built correctly. When I say built correctly, it just, just location-wise, it just wasn't the best.
There was never incentive for the management to build more stands, which is what they needed to get a cup race, and they never would do it.
Damn, so all they needed was just more stands. That's it. That's all they needed.
Essentially, yeah, but they also needed the ability to draw that many people. But okay, continue on, Jarrett.
On the front of scheduling, a little bit worse news. We got to it a little bit earlier, but just going more in depth on it and what it means. Moving forward, Bob Pockers had reported that the Virginia governor had ordered a stay-at-home order through June 10th, which means that the Martinsville Speedway has been turned into a testing center for Voldemort. So it pretty much means that we're not getting Martinsville on the schedule distance.
I can
and
guarantee
the whole
you
Eastern Seaboard right now is.
Even though it's not official, I went ahead and canceled my Enterprise rental for that weekend.
Yeah. So guys, Martinsville, squash it. Don't dream big, but not in this case. It's not happening. We've already talked with some people too. It's not going to happen.
The playoff race is going to be a night race. That's why I think it's going to happen. Sorry, Danny, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
The bad thing is that I remember rating that a lot. They said ticket sales were going up big time for that race too.
Yeah, of course. And dude, we were planning this trip out right after. Remember that Monday morning of the Daytona 500? Well, the rest of the 500. We were just planning that out. We immediately changed the chat to the Martinsville chat. Here we go. We're about to get it.
Well, and we found out that news, and we immediately changed. I think we can pretty much say we said earlier what we're aiming for. We changed it to the Brickyard chat. We're aiming for that right now, and hopefully by then, that's July 4th weekend. Hopefully that some stuff get back to normal. It's all up in the air. The problem right now is most of it's day by day. If you were to ask me, I don't think it's on the more likely side, but it's a possibility. So I'm just hoping for the best right now. But I mean, right now, the reports are coming out. We're not nowhere near the end of the peak of this thing, let alone the end.
And just on a serious note too, just I just haven't really been trying to watch the news, honestly, just because I'll be honest, just some of the news coverage out there, dude, it only scares you. So don't be watching the news and stuff all the time, because you're only going to scare yourself. Obviously know it's a bad situation, but
when I was going back and forth with Darian, not last night, but the night before,
it was
I was nervous. Yeah, I was nervous because one, the video I was going to be releasing on what NASCAR's plan would be, it's really serious, and two, I'm following that up with a glorified fan fiction, basically, of Dale Jr.'s beard's effect on the world for April Fool's Day.
See, that's the thing. They can say whatever they want to about Jared's channel or my channel, but the one thing they can't take away from us: variety. We can go from serious to really funny in a heartbeat, just like that. So.
I went from a video exposing one of NASCAR's weirdest things to a comedy about one of NASCAR's best fake teams ever.
Hey, Tia Norfleet, she's an Xfinity Series driver. Ha! April Fools!
You got me with that video. I was guessing for a long time. Oh man, what team could he be talking about? You got me with the Talladega Nights team. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Wait. What's the name again? I forgot. What is it? Dennett Racing.
Dennett Racing.
So hold up. So hold on. So I gotta ask you some things. So you mean to tell me Dennett Racing, they closed down right after 2005? That was a wrap. That was it.
Yeah, dude, they got fined out the wazoo by NASCAR for what Wade Chris did.
Now I gotta ask though, because you did say this: how did Cal Naughton Jr. win the championship that season? How?
Well, the reason is because he was getting all those second place finishes to Joan Girard. Well, Joan Girard, he made the promise to Ricky Bobby that he would leave NASCAR when he was beat by Bobby. Bobby beat him at Talladega. He left, took Perrier, went back to Formula One, and then that left Cal Naughton with a huge points advantage over the next person, and he just all he had to do was show up in Ricky Bobby's number 62, and he won the championship. He locked it up.
Wow. So basically, Ricky Bobby, he doesn't have a driver's championship, but he has an owner's championship technically.
Yep.
Wow, just like that, dude. That's amazing.
I mean, at that point, Dennett had to sell the 26 to Roush. He sold the 55 to Bill Davis.
That's
and
right.
Then all that was left was the 47. And at that point, Bobby was like, "I'll buy it cheap. Sure, take it. I need it."
Wow, that is crazy, and it's good to know that they're in the Hall of Fame too. Right now, Bobby and the late Dennett Senior is in the Hall of Fame right now. 2017 and 2018 inductees.
And Lucius Washington.
Yeah.
Oh, and Lucius, yes, that's right. You got to put him in, of course. And then pretty soon, Cal Naughton, hopefully next year.
Now, about to say, will we see Cal make the Hall of Fame with that consistency he had?
Yeah, he's going in next year.
He's a champion. He's a champion.
He's a champion, yeah.
One win, one championship, 157 top fives, and 2 Busch Series wins.
That's right. He did have 2 Busch wins.
Really quick, just because I'm looking at the time right here, and we're closing in on our window. I want to get right before we do picks between this. Give us a minute or two, Sloppy and Darian, about a minute or so. What's this Filter Time Talladega Bash thing?
Oh,
we're talking about that, aren't we?
Down. I wasn't even prepared for this. All right. We're to everything. Let me start. Okay, so Filter Time, the Filter Time Bash this Friday. So the way it's going to work is we already have our drivers selected, a combination of pro leaguers, who I was just commentating for. You also have your content creators. Gator and Rusty, they were just in the pro league race as well on the PS4 side of things. And you also have Filter Time. That's right. So Blake Cook and Dale Jr., they've decided to team up with us and sponsor this mega event at Talladega. Here's the race format. 100% race at Talladega. Relaxed yellows are on for this instance. The drivers, they were begging for it. And also heavily requested by the drivers, there's a yellow line rule. I know. But from a racing standpoint, it was the right thing to do. We were having practice races with only 8-9 people, and oh my God, some of the moves people would make. For example, I don't know if he's in the chat, but I'm not just calling you out. I'm just saying, Carnation. Oh my God, dude, he would be on the outside, and then he would be like 30 lanes deep into it. So, but anyways, Filter Time Bash this Friday. I will be streaming my point of view on the main channel. I never stream any video games on the main channel, but this event is so big, and the central broadcast will be on
my channel right here. The main broadcast will be on my channel. I will say myself and MDK are putting a lot of work to make this look like a really good show. And I tell you, these graphics that you guys are going to see, it's going to be incredible. I'll just say right now, you'll see a ticker, a starting grid, like the traditional Fox days, maybe, as they take a lap. Telling you, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be on my channel. MDK's Racing, so shout out to him for all of his incredible work, and we're doing some awesome stuff with that as well. Thank you to Filter Time as well, my good buddy Blake Cook, who I've known him since he was a start and park driver. We've had our friendship for years, and I help him, he helps me, and we still keep in contact. And as well, NASCAR Heat and Talladega Super Speedway for helping promoting it and doing some good stuff with it too. So it's a huge event.
That's crazy. I just realized that Blake was a start and park driver. That's
was.
Right. Before all the success in the 11, that's right.
Yeah.
Man,
I'll say real quick, 10 seconds. Atlanta 2011, his car was on for a little meet and greet. Didn't even know he was a driver there. I was too big for his car because he's a really small guy. Try getting in. Blake's like, yeah, I'm a pretty small guy. That's how I met him in 2011. And
that's crazy.
Stuff. When I was a kid, I rooted for him as a start and park, and now we both root for each other with all the success we've been having. So
that's awesome. I wish last year he would have gotten the opportunity to drive the 4, but then when the whole stuff happened with Chastain and Ganassi, I understand it. It's a business, but at the end of the day, even though he's not racing, he's a pretty good businessman.
He's
a
a decent driver too. If you look at his record, man,
he
that
is.
11 team didn't have all the support they have now in playoffs.
Remember, this was I believe this was 2015. This was like I think Mid Ohio or Road America somewhere. He was running top 5 at a road course, and it was like the first time he had ran top 5 ever, or like one of the first times in history of his career. And like I think he ran out of gas or just lost power there, and he had to coast like to a 15th place finish. I can't remember that, but this was before the team upgraded their stuff, started making the playoffs and stuff. I just hope he's back on the track sometime in some capacity, whether it's for a small team, big team, whatever. Just come back on the track. But in the meantime, thank you so much for sponsoring this. Appreciate it.
And we want to see all you guys out there watching us. If you're not racing, we want to see you watching us in the chats, anything like that.
We already have alliances. We already have alliances going on. We're going to have parties and stuff. Oh, it's going to be great. We're going to have some drafting partners.
But
it's going to be great.
Before that, we got to do picks tonight. So, who wants to go first, and we got Bristol this week. And really quick, Blue Jimmy, thanks for the $2. Says may have symptoms, but I'm ready to kick her Voldemort's butt.
Yeah, that's right.
You sly son of a gun. So yeah, who's gonna suck this week at Bristol for the iRacing Pro Invitational race?
Let's go down the list.
I'll go first for this one.
All right.
I'm gonna say Jimmie Johnson for this one, as far as who's gonna be not do good.
You got a tutor though.
But I think this is gonna be a wreck fest too. That's gonna be a huge wreck fest.
Oh, it's gonna be crazy, and it's gonna be funny too. It's gonna that's a must-watch TV. Whenever it's a shit show, sometimes usually it's like, that's pretty bad. But I think for this case, since it's Bristol, it'll be accepted because everyone knows how chaotic Bristol can be. Just on any sort of simulator, not just iRacing. Have you been in friggin' IDK's lobbies?
Unfortunately.
For Bristol? NASCAR Heat? Oh my god, dude. You're about to lose your fucking sanity, man. I swear. But no, back to the iRacing for Bristol. Who's gonna suck? I'm going to go with I don't want to do this, but it's a track record. I have to go with Suarez, man. I'm sorry. I have to. It's just he was doing so good. He was doing so good at Texas, running inside the top 10. I'm like, good for him. Finally, he's getting some having some luck falls towards his way, and then he wrecks the wrong Dillon brother. Well, I can't even say wrecks. You didn't even wreck him. You wrecked yourself. So, and then you ended up being, I guess, the clown of the day, I guess. But I don't see it getting any better just because Bristol's so chaotic. You never know what's going to happen. I'd say Bristol is more of a riskier track on iRacing than Talladega is, because with Talladega, at least you know what you get. You can just run in the back, just run in pack and stuff. At Bristol, if somebody spins, just hits you, that's it. That's a wrap. So not much reaction time. So Suarez, he's going to suck.
Sloppy, who you got sucking?
Who I got sucking? Well, I've been doing a lot of iRacing at Bristol the past couple of nights just to get a little bit better feel of this track. It's a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. These guys are going to be battling. There's going to be wrecks. When those tires at the beginning of the run, those tires are super cold, loose. I'm telling you, we are going to see some wrecks on the restarts. I have Brad Keselowski sucking.
Wrecks on the restart, Sloppy? We talking about Rex, or are we talking about
it's me. No, but I don't know. Keselowski's been really quiet in these iRacing events, and I don't think he's ever won at Bristol. Has he won at Bristol? Did he win once? I think
he's won twice.
He's won twice. Okay.
But on the simulation though, he hasn't been really
fast
up there. I just think with the way the chaos is going this weekend at Bristol, I just think Keselowski's gonna have a bad weekend.
Well, as for me, our guest before, Randy the Plumber, had just been on a podcast with this guy. This guy is basically, if this was a train, he would be the caboose literally every week so far. I'm going Clint Boyer. Clint Boyer's going to suck.
Yeah.
You got to feel for him because he's always got that Fox camera right on him because of his role of Fox.
It's perfect because they know he's going to suck, and they just want to get his reaction. Like, what's going over there, Click? And he's like, well, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? He's the perfect guy for it.
Yeah, and he's not good at it. But people who might be good at it are our dark horse picks. So, who's going to be a dark horse this week?
No, I'll go first.
We're getting
Anthony Alfredo. That's if he's racing.
If he makes it,
he barely made it into the main for Texas. Gets all the way up to 9th. Oh wait, did he barely make it in for the main?
He led like every lap and then got passed on the last lap, man.
Yeah, but where'd he finish though?
Oh, he got wrecked. He got hooked right into turn 3 in his race.
Oh, okay, all right, never mind. So
Yeah.
basically didn't barely make his way in. He straight up raced his way in. My apologies. Thank
Barely
you,
drove in the main event.
Barely drove in the main event. Made his way all the way up inside the top 10 until gets taken out there. Sideswipe. I told him before the race, hey, make sure to get some TV time. I didn't mean it that way, so get some TV time in a much positive way this time. So Anthony Alfredo, that's my dark horse.
All right, for me, my dark horse is gonna be Kyle Busch because he's proved he's great here in reality, but iRacing hasn't been his strong point. So I really
He did
think
improve last week.
he's my one to watch as a dark horse. I'm not gonna say he's gonna win, but he could.
All right, my underdog. Some of you may think who I'm going to pick here is my underdog. We saw him win in person at Bristol last year, and he was running right near that top 10 in Texas in his first iRacing event. And if you guys know this man, he loves the high line. He loves running it. I'm going with Tyler Reddick, the Beast, as my underdog for
That's
Bristol.
right. He's going to run a Tame the Beast scheme. He has to run a Tame the Beast scheme.
I hope so, man. I don't know yet. We'll see.
Or maybe another I Am Second scheme. I love that sponsor.
A lot of times the driver's been driving the paint schemes that they would have drove in real life. So
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, I can't really do much of a hype for this one because he was already picked by one of these three as a dark horse. But I mean, this dude's awesome at iRacing. Anthony Alfredo definitely going to be the dark horse, and he'll probably be streaming it so you can watch from his dark horse POV. So I'm picking him as my dark horse. That I would not be surprised whatsoever if he has to race his way in again and then goes on and wins. But as for winning picks, and really quick before I get to that, $2 super chat. Rocky2689 says only Cup drivers are allowed to run this week. Well, that sucks.
Oh yeah, because Anthony retweeted it and said this
sucks.
is cool.
Wait. I'm sorry. Wait,
I want these
hold on.
guys
Say it
in.
again.
So full-time
Wait,
Cup
why?
drivers are in it, and then Saturday Thunder is going to be for Xfinity, Truck, ARCA drivers.
no, I don't like that rule.
Man, come
What?
on.
So that means Dale Jr. can't do it?
Wait,
He's
ooh.
gonna do it.
They'll find a loophole for him.
Yeah,
I
they'll
think
find a loophole.
I think that man's got a sort of provision with all the iRacing stuff he's done.
Man, come
They know
on.
they know it gains
yo.
viewers if he's in that thing.
Okay, so
Well,
then fine.
well,
My
well-
dark horse pick, not Timmy Hill. What?
Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, I'll
No,
stick
wait.
with Tyler Reddick. There
Yeah.
we go. Tyler Reddick. That's my dark horse.
There we go. Tyler Reddick. That
Sorry, Anthony, I
sucks.
can't pick you because of NASCAR. Thanks, NASCAR. Or iRacing, or whoever's running it.
All right, on to the win pick. I'll go first for this one. We talked about Clint Boyer having a camera on him and how he's performed. I think this guy better have a high-quality camera on him, and he might want to wear clothes this time because I would have picked him if he was racing in real life, or this one, Matt DiBenedetto gets some redemption and wins Bristol.
Good pick.
And you are wrong. Here's why. Because Denny Hamlin is gonna get some more revenge on everyone else. He's just gonna crush all the hopes and dreams of every DiBenedetto fan once again. I don't know. Something about Hamlin on iRacing is scary, but another thing that's scary is Hamlin at Bristol. I'd say for Bristol, I think he's pretty underrated for his Bristol track record in the Cup Series. It's not like a track record that really pops out. It's not like a DW's record or Rusty's or a Dale Senior, for instance. But he always gets the job done, no matter what car, no matter what crew chief he has, no matter what. So I'd say it's going to be a shit show, but Hamlin's going to be on top of that shit show. The Hamlin's going to win. I'm sorry, it is, man. Come on, it's iRacing at Bristol. We know what's going to happen. We already know what it is.
Nah, Hamlin ain't winning.
Jared, you want me to go or you want you to go?
I want you to. You go. I like going.
All
last.
right, okay. I was gonna go at Jared. I was gonna go with the guy I think you're gonna pick for this thing because of his history there. But I'm gonna go a little different route. I think he's due. We've seen him have one of the fastest cars every single week, and just something always happens to him. The 24 is going back to victory lane at Bristol. William Byron is going to pick up the W at Bristol and get his first pro invitational win.
That's right. And then eventually he needs to come on NASCAR Heat and needs to rematch with me again.
There was actually a race there.
We gotta run it. We gotta run it again. There. Yeah, we gotta run it again sometime, dude. That was fun. That was fun the last time.
You know what? I respect Danny this week. He did not go with the Bowman meme. But I do not respect myself enough to not go with mine. I'm picking Junior again. I'm going to pick him every damn week. Every week.
He's pulling, what's his name from race day? Stick with the Biff.
Stick with the Biff.
If it wasn't for the fact that I loved the the Benedetto revenge storyline better, I was going to pick Dale Jr. So
I'm not gonna lie. If it
Never
comes down
fail,
to the,
Dale. Never fail, Dale.
Yeah.
if it comes down to the final lap and Benedetto moves Hamlin out of the way for the win, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I'd be like, okay, he got his.
We'd
his
probably
revenge,
be
basically.
freaking out.
Dale
being like,
will
yeah.
prevail.
Dale will prevail. Yeah, I like that
Dale
one
will
better.
prevail.
Yeah.
I want to point something out. I haven't heard from our friend who was keeping track of our points in a while, but
Oh,
I picked Timmy Hill last week, so I got that one
you
right.
did. That's
And,
right. And I picked
just-
Junior like an idiot.
And I just want to say, none of us picked these two guys, but I'm not going to be surprised if Timmy Hill or Garrett Smithley wins.
Timmy!
Oh, yeah.
It was either him or
Nice.
Smithley. It was either him or Smithley for my pick to win this week. But I just think Byron's due.
He is really. It seems like something always happens.
Yeah.
I just think it's great that in some way Garrett Smithley can kind of get some revenge because towards the end of last year there was a lot of stuff with the whole KB situation at Vegas, and then Jarrett saw it firsthand at Kansas. That was an accident with the lap car. That really wasn't his fault when you think about it. Like, it's a tough deal, and with the way social media is now, everyone's obviously going to get on him. But his track record is freaking amazing on these late models.
I just remember being there.
He's good.
And
He's good.
I'm standing up because it's a side-by-side battle for the lead, and it happened. And I went, yeah, what the hell
and
just
then all
happened?
of a sudden, out of nowhere. And I'm not going to lie.
I got to see
there
Brandon
are some-
Jones' first win. That was amazing.
Yes, dude, and then all of a sudden he beats Kyle Busch too. So that's his story. That's a very historic.
Everyone, the chat's going. I put hashtag Dale will prevail.
I started a trend.
Let's do it.
Hey, let's go.
Dale will prevail.
Dale will prevail.
Dale will prevail. Oh,
all right, man. But yeah, that's our picks. So I want to thank everybody in the chat for watching. I want to thank Randy the Plumber for coming on. His TikTok is in the description below, and as is Joey's channel. But Joe, where can they find you other than your channel?
Well, I took the liberty of oh man, it's messed up. But hey,
you did all that work.
Sloppy _ Joe YouTube, and then it's the white Sloppy _ Joe. Now, what it is? There it is.
There we go.
He still can't.
He did all that work. He was sitting in his corner just drawing it.
He even got the tire out in the background and everything.
Yeah. Sloppy _ Joe on YouTube, and on Twitter, Sloppy _ Joe _YT.
And also watch the central broadcast for the Filter Time Bash this Friday. 8 o'clock Eastern Time is when we'll start.
And and Darian. It's on your channel next week. Who we got as our guest?
Oh, that's
special guest.
Dude, I don't even know who we have as our guest. Let me check.
Right. I do. I can say it if you want.
Wait, hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Sam Meyer will be on next week.
I just did my research with him.
And maybe another one. We'll update you guys just like we did this week with Randy. We'll update you on if there's another guest.
Since it's on my channel, we might do something special. Maybe instead of 1 or 2 guests, we'll have like 10. No, I was playing. We'll have like 6 or
April
5
Fools?
guests. No, I'm serious. We'll do something a little different.
I think we're done just putting the link to the stream like we used to.
Yeah, that was
No.
kind of
Oh, no.
fail.
I'm saying no. Not to fans. No. We ain't doing that no more. I'm saying no. We might have some other guests too. I've never been on the show before. You never know. So.
And we'll update you. We may be able to update you on some of the special guests for episode 100 next week.
Yo,
but
is the big one official yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
But
we got 2 of them though.
Yeah, we
2
got
of them official.
2 of the 3 we're aiming for. But oh my god, I can't wait. I want to announce it right now, but I know we can't. But it is the end of the show. But that's something you guys can look forward to. So keep watching every week. And Randy's back on.
Back.
Hey!
Oh, no, he's
Randy
back.
the Plumber.
What's up?
What's up, buddy?
How's it going, man?
I made it back before y'all got done. Good deal.
Yeah, we're just heading out. Where can they?
Yeah,
Everything okay?
Yeah,
everything
everything
okay?
go all right?
Oh yeah, it's all good, man.
Okay. Where?
People call all hours of the damn night with crazy stuff.
Oh no, I understand. It's all good, man. It's part of life. But
Well,
where can people find you? By the way,
Before we do
Okay.
that, we just got to do this. Randy, who's winning this weekend?
yeah, who's winning?
Well, I don't have a bet with Clint Boyer this week, so I'm gonna have to go with Timmy Hill.
Hey, okay, we go.
Nice.
Safe bet, safe pick, safe pick.
2 in a row.
What about Boyer though? Where does he finish in all this?
Bad.
I knew it. We were just talking about that too.
Yeah, Clint Boyer had a one Sunday. Barstool Sports was going to order 100,000 Randy the Plumber hats.
Oh no! Damn,
Yeah.
what could have been?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
man.
that's
He
$1 million.
purposely drove slow.
Yeah, that's all good.
So, Randy, where can they find you? I got your TikTok link in the description, but are there anywhere else on social media you want them to follow you on?
Well, I'm on everything: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, RandyThePlumber.com is where all my merchandise is. It's got some good stuff, including this oh shit hat. So,
Do you have any
Yeah.
shirts? Please tell me you have oh shit shirts. Please tell me.
well, I got some Randy the Plumber shirts, and I got some oh shit hoodies. I hadn't put them on there yet. I'll put them on there.
Oh, all right. I'll get one later.
I definitely
I'm
have a
getting
hoodie.
one.
I definitely
I'm
need
getting
it.
a hoodie.
I
need a
will
hoodie.
wear that for the season opener if I can get one.
Yeah, I'll wear it
I'll
on the
wear
podcast too. I'll wear it. I'll wear it wherever. I don't care.
And then I just made a hat for high school seniors yesterday. It says
Oh.
class of 2020, the year shit got real.
That is cool. I love it. I love it, Randy. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so everyone go there, and then, well, Randy, every week I got this Dale call, and it's really loud, and I like to blow it in the mic to blow everybody's ears out, so I'm just warning you now. If you want to take the earphones out, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, yeah, do
but
it
I'm-
just in case.
I'm going to mute everybody, and this is how we'll end it out. All right, guys, so until next time.